All right, they should be able to hear now. I know what you said.
We'll see. Can you hear me? I don't know, but the light is very bright. It's like when I turn my head, I look like I got a what do you call that? What do you call that when you get on your face when the app they make you look prettier than you are? Those filters, those beauty filters, is what it looks like I'm doing. I can't read this. It's so small. I'm going to have to use my phone to get these.
Yeah, it's fine. All right, so we're live. They can hear us and see us now. I'm just going to add one more thing in.
Mm-hmm. Folks, my dinner consisted of a protein bar, so forgive me if I'm smacking a little bit. The contest is over, folks. Was that your phone?
That was mine, I think.
Hey, you better get that off of there. You get your girlfriend bugging. Crystal, quit bugging. Scorpion's busy. Dang, that light is so bright. Like, it just makes my face look... Trying to get things going here. Letting a few more people join the chat so we can make some announcements here. How many people we got in the chat room right
80.
now? 80 people? That's not enough. We got to get more people in here. Welcome to Fantasy Island, where my dreams come true, not yours. Yeah, because I can't see the deal.
That's better. Not even my blind ass can read that.
Sit up. Scorpion has a problem with slouching, folks. He loves to slouch. He'll be in the car, and he'll sit like this in the car. And then when I ask him if he can pick up something off the floorboard, he goes, oh, because he's slouching so bad he can't pick it up. He is a sloucher. A sloucher. When you were a kid, Scorpion, and your mom asked you what you wanted to be when you grow up, did you tell her you wanted to be a sloucher?
Nope.
What'd you say you wanted to be?
Baseball player.
I did too.
So like my dad.
Well, my dad was a baseball player too, but my dad crushed my dreams. He told me that very few people make it to the major leagues, and I shouldn't use that as something I wanted to be. So he kind of ruined it for me. Although I was really good in baseball and football. But
Mine told me I should just practice hard, but always have a backup plan in case it didn't work out.
yeah, exactly. Yours were supportive. My parents were those parents that pretty much told me that you weren't going to get anything. They're probably right, though. I like to think of them as really, really not nice realists. Get some more people in this chat room, folks. And then we're going to do it. We're going to get it going here. There we go. Now I can read it. Everybody ready for the announcement of the art contest? We'll wait until we get at least 100 people in here, folks. We got 94 people. Tell your parents, your friends, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. Tell everybody.
I like that comment. Real men have a mustache.
Get
Have
the
a
whole
nice
family on
mustache.
there. Get them all involved. Sit up, man.
I'm comfortable, dude.
Well, be set up for the camera at least.
If you're not comfortable in the next 2 hours, then
Yeah, you're gonna be. There you go. You gotta sit up. Slouching doesn't. Scorpion's got a problem with slouching, folks. Just to give you an idea of how big of a human being I am, not because I'm bragging. Please don't tell. I'm trying to tell you, I'm a very large mammal. Scorpion is 270 pounds. He's 6 foot 270. I'm 6'4", 340. So you see the size difference between me and Scorpion, who's a very large individual. So just so you guys get an idea of, some people are like, "Oh, he's not that big." Well, you're not sitting next to me either. I wanted to read y'all something. I got a story, and I'm going to give credit where credit is due. It came from Bettina Moss's group. I'm going to read this to y'all. It's a Dogman related story. And it's called The Legend of the Long Dog. So that was one of the things I had lined up for tonight to read to you guys. Also, I brought Scorpion on because multiple people have been asking for the various people from PRT to come on and sit with me on the shows. So we're going to bring Zane on. We're going to bring Diablo on. Trying to get Nelly to come on. I don't know if she will. And we had Tony last week, Anthony. We're going to get him. We're going to all sit in at one point or another, and we're going to, so you can answer questions. We're going to go through our, we're going to read off the names of the Patreon supporters: Joyce Brunette, Wendy Page Williams, Earl Bowers, Barbara Blendy, Martin Hertel, Terry Fusilier, Chris Clough, Lou, still don't have the last name, Curtis Turner, no relation, although I wouldn't mind being related to him. He's a very, very, very talented and nice guy. He's always making memes of me. Philip Morn, Alexander Murphy, Matthew Durgo, Chris Smith, and Ralph Ayu. And I hope I said your name correctly, Ralph. Once again, if I didn't, correct me. Thank you all for being contributors and supporters. Those are $10 Patreon supporters, I believe, right? Yeah, and then we have $5 tier and I believe a $3 tier. Okay. Also, my email address is joshturner@prtpodcast.com, joshturner@prtpodcast.com. Send me your stories. Anything you want to talk about. You want, a lot of people send me stories and they're like, I don't know if you should talk about this. I don't know if I want you to talk about this. You can mention my name. You can't mention my name. So I just have a policy. I typically, unless you say to mention your name, I don't. So you don't have to feel uncomfortable or anything like that. So that, that's kind of how that works. We have the podcast website, or the prtpodcast.com, where you can go and you can purchase merchandise. We have, what do we have? Backpacks, hoodies,
coffee mugs,
shirts,
those gator masks.
Yeah, face gaiters. What else do we got? We got
T-shirts,
t-shirts, phone cases. Mm-hmm. We got all kinds of stuff. So go check out stickers. We got stickers.
Stickers.
Mm-hmm. And another thing, my email address is joshturner@prtpodcast.com. So it's very easy to remember with the prtpodcast.com website. The Patreon, I believe, is attached to the prtpodcast.com too, isn't it?
not yet.
Not yet, but it will be? Okay. So we got a Patreon now. So we've set that up, and you can donate money to help with the show, to help pay for the show. Right now, we've pledged to donate half of our super chats to help Ryan get his equipment up and running. Funny thing, we dropped the third episode of A Whisper to a Scream with Ryan. We dropped it last Sunday. He's still running a little bit late when he drops them. We're trying to get into a rhythm where he drops them regularly. Also, we're having a problem with the sound. My mic was way louder than his for some reason. That's not something on my end, but it's the editing, when he does the editing. And I think he has a third party actually doing the editing. And so, we're trying to get all the kinks worked out. We're trying to get all that adjusted. Eventually, we will be on the same page, folks, and my mic will be synced up with his. We aren't in the same state. if Ryan would do what I told him and just come to Texas, he could be here, and we could do everything in studio. But he wants to be a little stubborn person and just stay living out there. Oh man, I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna do my alter ego, the Dogman Whisperer. I am the Dogman Whisperer. I live in the great state of Wisconsin. I whisper in the Dogman. He lays down. I pet his stomach. I tell him, go over there. He goes over there. I tell him, get out of those people's trash. He gets out of their trash. I am the great Dogman Whisperer. No one can Dogman Whisper like me. I know everything there is to know about dogs, humans, and dog humans. Any questions you have, I will be in your group to correct you. As soon as you say they're not a physical creature, I will jump on you. I will pounce like a tiger, but more like a dog man. And I will tell you, you are wrong. I know dogs. Therefore, I know dog man. I have a whole posse of people who are really stupid and back me up on my ridiculousness. Isn't that right, my friend?
Yep, that's right.
The Dogman Whisperer. Dogman getting into your trash? I say, get out of their trash. And he gets out because he knows what is up. I will come to any state in the continental United States if you pay for my plane ticket. And then I will get rid of the Dogman problem. Just so you know. That's my impression of the Dogman Whisperer. So, let's see what we got. Nothing's popping up on my screen.
Oh. Thank you, Titan, for the $50 donation.
Where is it? Thank you. I couldn't read it. It's not showing up.
Okay, since Wolf is blind,
There it is.
Sir
The
Paul,
very bottom-
$9.99.
the very
Thank you for
bottom,
your
because there's
donation.
no color
For
there.
Ryan's equipment and possible move to Texas, LOL. Any
Titan,
Florida Dogman
$50.
encounters?
Can you shut up? And Sir Paul is... How much is that? I can't, can you read that? I can't even read that.
Titan, $49.99. Thank you for your donation. It says, wonderful, Josh. Thanks for helping Brother
Sir Paul,
Ryan. Yes,
$9.99.
Ryan needs to get to Texas.
Sir Paul, $9.99. That's not what it popped up on the screen.
Enrique Salinas, $5. We need to make this where it's color, dude. All joking aside, seriously. Like the color, I can't read it.
Just read it on your phone.
And it pops up here on the right hand.
Okay, here you go. That's what it looks like. Hey, that's pretty cool. It's like in. How many people we got in the chat room? 137. I think we can announce the contest winners
Oh, so we got Count Dracula in
real
there.
quick. I need to be able to read the super chats, and then I'll be able to see how the color is. I can't. There we go. But then if you do that, then you can't read it over here.
I can make it to pop up on the screen like a little bit bigger.
Okay. And we can cover up Scorp's face. That'd be fine with me. Is this what they're going to see when it comes up?
Right there is usually where it pops up.
I don't think the lighting is good. And that's how it's going to look on folks at home. Is that how y'all see it?
Yep.
Yeah, they're seeing everything right now.
No, I'm saying, is this what they see right here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't know if I showed you guys this last week. I'm very proud of it. So I wanted to make sure you saw it again this week. That is the Black Devil cat. I saw it running around. Came out of 7-Eleven. Ran real fast. Went to a ditch. Exploded. Came 4 little cats. Alright, guys. Here we go. The winners of the art contest. We did a Willie Williams. It was in honor of my friend Willie Williams. We did an art contest, and so first place was Ashley Marie Clapstein. You won first place, and everybody can go, if you're able to go to Paranormal Round Table group. If you go to the Paranormal Round Table group page, you will see the pictures and the voting. I believe she got 59 votes, but I'm going to go back. I'm going to double check right now. And then this is going to be the beginning of our brand new contest we're going to start out here. You got your phone? Can you go to the Paranormal Roundtable deal? No, I am wrong. She got 65 votes. But as of the end of the contest, MJ, I believe.
Which one was hers?
I believe it was the very first one. At the end of the contest at 7:30, $5 from Brian Clough. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. At the end of the contest, MJ had 44 votes. I believe that Ashley had 59. She had 59. MJ had 44, and Roger Carter had 43 as of the 7:30 deadline. But now there are more votes. The people are going and actually hitting like on there, so you know. And you had some other good ones too, man. But right after I announced that,
I voted for.
yeah, that's Roger Carter. Roger, you got third place, and MJ, you got second place. MJ is 11 years old, folks. An 11-year-old took second place. You win $50. You won $50, and you're going to get an autograph book and some PRT swag. First place, Ashley, you get $100, and you get some PRT swag and an autograph book. And third place is Roger Carter. Roger's done a lot of good work. He's drawn lots of pictures for me. Honorable mention, Jason McFadden. You did a great job. I like your art style. I like what you did. There were several people who just did. I mean, all of them were good.
Yeah, I voted. I voted for Rogers. I thought that was really good the way he did.
Voted for Roger Carter.
Yeah,
I hit like on all of them because I'm impartial, unlike my companion here.
I'm honest.
He's just rude.
I'm
so,
honest.
Ashley, you congratulations for that victory. And we will talk off air, and we will discuss what you won other than your $100, and we will talk how to get your $100. We have different ways to pay you. We can pay you through Venmo. We can pay you through PayPal. We can pay you through, what is it, the Cash App?
Yeah.
So however you want to get your ducats, you know what I'm saying? However you want to do that, you know what I'm saying? We'll do it. We'll get you your dead presidents. And Roger, same thing for you. And MJ, congratulations, especially being as young as you are to come in second place. That's pretty awesome. So all of you other people that participated, I appreciate it. And all the ones that didn't, shame on you. Shame on you. You could have done something. Instead, you just sat there and thought about yourself. Did you care that the rake is out in the cold, roaming around out in the woods, you know, with no blanket, no warmth? But these people care? No, they don't. They only think about themselves. You don't care about the crawler just out there by himself, out there roaming around. He's got to watch out for Bigfoot, Dogman, rednecks with guns, other people with guns. I mean, it's horrible. They don't even care. Just think about yourself. That's it. So, anyways, next contest.
There's someone cheaties that Stick Cat was the best next to MJ.
I tell you what, my Stick Cat, when we do the Devil Cat, if we ever decide to do the Devil Cat, that's going to be. Can you turn that light over there just a little bit toward the wall? When I turn, it like gets right in my eyes and it blinds me. I'm blinded by the light. So here's what's going on, folks. Here's what we're going to do. The next contest starts immediately. Paranormal Roundtable group page, same exact format. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to do the same freaking thing. You win $100.
What creature?
The goat man, the goat man. Or as we like to call it in Spanish, the cabrita.
Very tasty.
Yeah. Tell the folks at home what cabrita is, Scorpion.
Basically, it's just goat meat.
It's goat meat.
Yeah,
It's got a lot of manteca.
It's good in a taco.
It's good in a taco. It's got a lot of manteca.
A little bit of salsa, and we're good to go.
Yeah. Also, me and Scorpion are going to be. You can back up some, brother.
I'm good.
You're good being that close up. Me and Scorpion are going to be on TV pretty soon. I don't know when exactly. I got to talk to Michael Sheehan from These Woods Are Haunted, but they're covering what we did on the what's it called?
Church
of the Forgotten. That's which is the name that Anthony came up with. So we're going to be on These Woods Are Haunted, and I was so stiff in that video, and I was so fat, and just I looked so horrible. I mean, I looked like Kim Jong Il in there. I don't know.
I was just kind of re-scaring myself telling those stories, man. Telling that story.
Well, that's because you're a weenie. We all know that.
Shit. That's the only place I've ever worked that scared me.
So we need somebody. We need something. The WD-40 in these chairs or something, because it's like squeaking and making a lot of noise, and Scorpion keeps rocking back and forth. So we need WD-40. So, anyways, what we need to do is we're gonna have to set something up to do more interviews. People want more interviews. They want more Dogman interviews. So that's what we did. We decided to we interviewed Nick Vellante. Nick came on the show last week, and he's going to be on the show again this coming week, and we're going to talk more about Dogman. Everybody was clamoring for the Dogman. They wanted more and more Dogman stuff. But then I got accused of that being the only thing in my wheelhouse by someone on the comments, and Whisper to a Scream. But luckily, multiple people came to my defense and said, this guy has a show. He talks about all kinds of different things. And I just kind of laughed. I was like, really, dude? Do you know that I have a show where we cover tons and tons of different subjects, all Fortean subjects, Fortean being like strange, supernatural, weird stuff, and apparently this guy did not know that, and only knew me from Dogman encounters, and was telling Ryan he needed to dump me and get rid of me from a Whisper to a Scream. And I was offended. I was like, wow, really? I suck that bad that I need to be dropped from the show. So he said Ryan would be better off by himself. So I don't know if you folks think that that's the case, then let me know so I can drop out.
I doubt Vic would come and do the live stream with us. He's a very private man.
Who said that?
Sir.
Oh yeah, that's not gonna happen. Me and Ken Gerhard tried to get Vic Cundiff to do a Dogman
I
conference.
think they're asking to see if Ken can come do a live stream too.
I could maybe get Ken to do it. I don't know. We could maybe get him to do it. I don't know. But pretty sure I'm not going to be able to be getting. Not going to be getting Vic Cundiff on her anytime soon. What do we got here? Got to read some comments here. Ryan would be better off here in Texas. Yes, he would.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody put Doug, man. Okay.
No, I guess they have a point. As long as we don't put the picture up, he'll do a live stream.
Yeah, he can come on and he'll talk. And he'll put his voice on there, but he's not going to show himself.
Be on camera.
And Ryan, thanks for backing me up. He's like, no way I would just drop Josh. That is not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not going to happen considering.
And Roger, I saw your comment earlier. You're welcome for the vote in your picture.
I'm holding your Godzilla model hostage, Ryan. Just remember that. Godzilla and King Kong are going to throw down. Everybody says that Godzilla's going to win. Look, everybody said that the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. What did I say? Bucks. Didn't I say? I've been a Buck fan since '97, so I'm not a bandwagon. Cowboys and the Bucks are my teams. I like the Texans too, but let's face it, dude, they're going nowhere fast. But I've been rooting for them since '97, back when they had John Lynch and Booger McFarland, and they had Derek Brooks and Warren Sapp. Allstott. You know, that was my squad. Keyshawn Johnson.
Keyshawn was there too. Yeah.
Let me say something. You know, Rondé Barber. You know, back when Gruden was a coach.
Chucky
and Dungy before that. You know, let me tell you something, man. I knew the Bucks were going to smash the Chiefs, and I still got to go collect my money. I made some money over that, so I'm just going to tell you right now, the Bucks did it. I told my boys, everybody that was all naysaying that the Chiefs were going to win, I said, nope, the Bucks are going to get after them, and they're going to tear Mahomes up, and that's what they did. And they won. And they won the Super Bowl. I predicted it from the beginning of the playoffs. They had that little skid where I kind of doubted them a little bit in the middle of the season, but I hung in there, and I said, you know what? If they get in the playoffs, that's all that matters. And it's not just about Brady. It's that defense. They got after it.
Yes, Steph, I agree with you. Cowboys all day.
I like the Cowboys too, but, I mean, you know, and I'm going to say something about that. The league doesn't like the Cowboys. And if the Cowboys get themselves in a position to win, the league always finds a way to penalize them. Goodell is a Cowboy hater. He's been a Cowboy hater as long as he's been the commissioner. They don't want the Cowboys in there, and they have their reasons. There's an agenda behind it, believe me. And they don't, and it's not just Jerry Jones and all that. They don't like the Cowboys. They don't like Texas teams. They don't want Texas to win. Let me tell you why. Because Texas has too much pride. Texas is too free, and we're too proud. And I think that the powers that be, honestly, it sounds conspiratorial, but I'll tell you right now, they have a vested interest in keeping Texas teams from winning. The Astros won, and all they did was talk about how they stole signals. Who cares? Everybody did it.
Yep.
The Yankees did it too, but their records got sealed. The Red Sox did it. Nobody hardly talked about it. The Astros did it. Oh, my gosh. ESPN talked about it for an entire year.
You know, I said it myself. When I was in Little League, I tried to learn the other team's signs and try to steal those. I mean, you start learning that when you're young.
Yeah. I mean, that's something you did when you know, all of a sudden now it's illegal. I mean,
yeah.
It's ridiculous. But is there a way to cut the sound for just a second?
Why did you need to take a break real quick or what?
Yeah, I just got to say something in private.
All right, hang on.
Just real fast. Sorry, folks. I got to talk to my technical team here real quick about a change I want to make real quick. Back some too. There we go. I know your back's gonna start hurting, Squirt. It always does. these questions. Still having a hard time. There we go. There we go. Thank you. Couldn't see the questions, folks. I'm gonna turn it this way just a little bit. Ethan, you're always in the chat. Always. Ryan, yo, I voted for something other than the rake. I'm so tired of that topic. You know, it is what it is. People see this creature quite a bit. Love Texas. Did my Air Force basic and tech school there. Is that Lackland? Lackland in San Antonio? Says, uh-oh, here we go with stripes again. What does that mean? Something, I thank you for voting for something other than the rake. What is the voting for the rake for? I don't get it. What are you guys voting for? The rake was the big controversy at the time, so that's why we chose that creature, the crawler, or whatever. What do you think, Scorp? This guy just asked a really weird question.
Which one?
Well, the questions are moving fast, and I can't scroll them down in this deal here. But let me see if I can do it on my phone. Guy says, Wolf, I know you're a man who can take care of himself in a barroom fight, but would you be able to take the character portrayed by Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse 1-on-1?
Easily.
Give me a break, dude. This guy out here sitting next to me has seen me do some serious Van damage on people, dude. Like,
you'd make that cooler quit.
Yeah, there's no. Yeah. I don't like to sit up here and talk because if you don't have somebody to back it up, it just sounds like you're lying or bragging or making jokes or whatever. It's not a joke. It is what it is. We've had lots of people who were in martial arts and who were fighters and whatever. I've always said open invitation. You want to sign a waiver, it's whatever.
Nope.
Doesn't matter to me. My wife doesn't want me to do that, but I mean, you sign the waiver, it's whatever. You get your face broken open, it's up to you. It's up to you. We can video it and put it on YouTube. Says here, hi Eric, stimulate in the house.
Got I think it's Callie Colbert who asked any creepy possessed doll stories.
Creepy possessed doll stories. That's a good one. Actually, didn't your aunt Anthony on your stepmom's side have like a clown room or something like that?
Yeah, she had a guest bedroom that was decorated with like clown wallpaper, like that lining wallpaper that goes towards the ceiling, and then she had like shelves with these clown porcelain dolls, and then like the bed sheet, like the bed set was like clown themed. The whole room was just clown themed. I mean, it wasn't, as far as I know, it wasn't haunted. I mean, I'd sleep in there. I was never really scared of clowns, but I could see how people would get creeped out by it. It's kind of a bizarre choice of decoration.
Clowns are creepy anyway. My friend and I encountered something black hole or black mass in Mexico in 1997. I remember everything like it happened yesterday. Wondering if you heard of something similar. Not exactly. Mm-hmm. Me and Scorpion, though, encountered something really weird in Mexico. I'm not gonna say it. Don't worry, guys. If you want a private message,
definitely not. Let's not
private message me. I'll let you know. You don't gotta chastise me. I'm not an adult. It says I'm fascinated. Shifting dude from your past. What does it say? I couldn't read it. I can't. The comments. I can't scroll.
Just follow them on your phone. I mean, you can follow the current comments on the screen and follow the past comments on your phone.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for giving me that information. I can't. It's too small. I can't read it. It says I'm fascinated by the story about the crazy reptilian. I can't.
What? Dude.
It's going too fast and it's too small. Okay, so fix that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
Right here, live chat. Scroll through it.
I cannot read that. You know, I'm farsighted, folks. By the way, I'm
It's
farsighted.
on your phone right there. Bring
So-
it close to your face.
Okay, I cannot. Do you understand what farsighted means?
We'll bring it. Oh,
Piss head. There it is.
I'm fascinated about with the story about crazy reptilian shape-shifting dude from your past. The guy you had to deal with at the bar.
Mm-hmm. You used to bounce. I heard that story a while ago. Okay, all right. Actually, you were there
Mm-hmm.
during all that. So, I mean, you saw. Let me just ask you in front of everybody. What did you see from the guy? There were certain things y'all saw that I didn't.
I saw his eyes kind of like change from like human eyes to almost like
Cat eyes.
cat or reptilian, like diamond slits or whatever you want to call it. And I also felt his back when I pushed, and it felt like it was rigid or skin. It didn't feel like skin underneath there. It was hard.
Yeah, I didn't feel like the skin underneath his shirt, but I know a couple of the guys did. What I felt was like he said, like nodules or ridges on his back that kind of popped up, and it was through a sweater. I didn't feel underneath it, and I did not see the eyes actually slit up. You and probably 7, 8 other people saw that at different times too.
That is kind of weird. So she's absolutely terrified of clowns, but she likes the Joker.
Jaron Kaiser, Josh, how do I get the PRT swag? You private message me later. We'll talk, and I'll make sure you get everything. We'll get it.
I think everybody likes a Joker.
I don't.
Well, not like him, but love to hate him.
Let's kidnap Ryan and make him a Texan. Any Amish powwow stories? I recently learned some of the Amish practice powwow witchcraft via an interesting story I was listening to. Actually, that's true because actually me and Scorp worked with some people who were Amish. They came from they did the Rumspringa. And they decided to kind of defect and not go back. And they stayed, worked. A couple of them worked for us, and they gave us some pretty creepy stories, right? So, you reading the comments?
Yeah.
Eventually, you guys are going to have to turn on slow mode. I don't know what that means. I just think of Spidey, spiky spine, like a catfish. Didn't really feel spiky. Felt more like nodules. I guess you could, like ridges. I don't know how to describe it.
We got a dude man saying, I want to hear more Duende stories.
We're going to do a show about that pretty soon. Right now, we're doing a Dogman festival, fiesta, whatever you want to call it. So for a few weeks, we're going to be doing Dogman, but then we're going to get back into some other stuff. The reason we decided to do the Dogman and just focus on that was because we got so many people clamoring for that. They just kept saying, when are you going to do more Dogman and just focus on Dogman? And so I said, all right, we'll go into the Dogman phenomena and we'll stay there for a while. And that's what we're doing. But we're going to get back to other stuff too. Are the hoodies true to size? I will say this. I wear 4X, and the hoodies, I would order a size larger. Just from my personal experience, the hoodie that I got, the 4Xs feel like they're a little bit small, a little bit snug. But I like a hoodie to be a little more baggy. I like it to be more comfortable, not really form-fitting, like... You have 3Xs.
I have 3Xs. It fits all right. It fits.
They fit good.
Oh yeah.
What do you think, Anthony? Do the hoodies fit good for you?
Stories.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really just depends, like it varies from size to size. How true to
It depends on how
size
you
it
like
is.
to wear it. Some people
Yeah.
are wearing it kind of snug. Some people kind of like wearing it kind of loose.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you wanted to, want it to be a little bit loose, they don't really come loose. You're gonna have to order a little bit size bigger. The shirts seem to fit true to size, but the hoodies, I in my experience, I have 3 of them. I think that they are a little bit small, like not small, but snug. You might as well do what you want because people are going to complain. Yeah, you're right.
Josh is definitely not one to wear skinny jeans. None of us in our house really want. Really,
I wear short shorts. It's my preference.
Ryan said something like, "Does becoming a Texan involve virgin sacrifice and bloodletting?"
Bloodletting.
No, you're thinking of becoming a Californian.
That's a different state, sir. That's like at least 40 miles from here. Okay.
I think to be a Californian, like
By a map.
bloodletting and virgin sacrifice is just like a rite of passage whenever you become like 8 years old.
I'll cut you. I'll cut you so bad you won't want to be cut again.
My knife.
Is this your knife?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Yeah. I will say this. If you want to become a Texan, you have to do 3 things. You have to bleep, and then you got to do the bleep, and then you have to bleep, and that's what you got to do. I would say if you're going to move to Texas, Ryan, you need to do it while the getting's good because is getting to where there's no more room left in Central Texas. Central Texas is the best place to be in Texas.
Yep. Yeah, people have been following you since Vic.
Yeah, a lot of people have followed me since Vic. I always brought the heat with the Dogman stories. I got the good ones, I got the good stories, and I always held on to them. And I even gave Vic show stories that I could have kept and used for my own, but I was like, nope. I want to bring it because it was a subject I'm very passionate about.
No, somebody asked something about angels.
They said, have there been stories about angels interceding during cryptid sightings?
Actually, yes. There are. And I need to talk to a fellow podcaster about possibly letting me use a story that he told me the other day. And I was like, well, it's your story. You're going to go with that? But he's not. He's a Bigfooter. And so that's not his thing. See, that's the kind of thing that I really don't like. And we'll get into something a little serious here. Some of these Bigfoot people in the Bigfoot community, anything that has anything outside of the actual flesh and blood, like if it involves the woo, they don't talk about it. They'll go and they'll talk about on their show, or they'll have someone on their show and they will talk about their Bigfoot experience, and they will ask them literally to omit that part of the story. And it happens on the Dogman channels too. You know, I mean, it's crazy. It's like, okay, tell this part of the story, but leave out the aspect that talks about it and that gives it anything other than it was a flesh and blood creature. That's doing everyone a disservice, and I'm getting really sick of it. I am getting really absolutely sick of that because a lot of what you're hearing on these Dogman and Bigfoot shows, you're getting half the story. I've gotten probably a dozen witnesses. These guys sitting right here can tell you. We've gotten witnesses that have said, well, I told this story, or I gave them this story, and they didn't want to hear anything outside of like the physical encounter. And then they go and they retell it on their show, or they have them tell it on the show, and they make them just drop all of the non-spiritual aspect of it. If it had anything to do with the supernatural at all, it was just right out. Now, do you as listeners, do you think that that's correct? Do you really think that's correct? And it makes me mad that they do that. And some of these people I consider friends that have these shows, and I'm just like, I can't wrap my mind around that. I can't grasp that as being okay. Like how is that okay to do? Like, I mean, we want the truth. You want to get the truth out there, but then, then that tells you right there that it's more about entertainment than it is about actually getting these people's true stories out there. Because when I bring someone on my show, folks, I'm gonna tell you right now, okay, and I'm talking from the heart right here. When I bring someone on my show, I ask them to talk about their paranormal experiences from the time that they're young until they get older, until whenever they get into their dogman encounter, because it shows you that the dogman phenomena is not, and the Bigfoot phenomena too, it's not just something that happens, to someone just at random. And a lot of times it's people, not always, but a lot of times it's people who've had other experiences in their lives. They've seen other things. They've had other encounters. And until we stop compartmentalizing and asking people to omit certain parts of their stories and asking or just flat out ignoring certain parts of people's stories, until we stop doing that, then we're never going to get to the truth. We're never going to get to the nature of the beast. We're only going to be sitting there chasing our tail, because there are multiple people who have reported UFO encounters involving Dogman and Bigfoot. There are people who have reported balls of light, spiritual ghost activity, paranormal activity in the form of like poltergeists. It's crazy. And then they sit there and they talk about how, we don't really want to hear that part. Let's just tell us about the Bigfoot you saw, and let's just pretend like none of that other stuff even happened. I can tell you right now, at least 12 people, a dozen people. Literally, I was driving along the other day. I was heading to my hometown to run an errand with Anthony, and it popped into my mind, about that, and I just thought to myself, this is a problem. Like, I just started counting in my head how many people have told me this, and it's like over a dozen, and I'm just going like, wow, that's mind-blowing that many people have told their stories, but their stories are being compartmentalized. They'll tell a story and it's a UFO encounter, but it'll involve a cryptid or some other supernatural phenomena. But those people don't want that. They just want the UFO encounter or whatever, or the ghost, people. They just want to hear about the ghost. They don't want to hear about Bigfoot. They don't want to hear about anything else you may have seen outside of your house, looking in your window. Oh yeah, we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to talk about the haunting. And the same thing for the cryptids community. It's like, we're going to talk about Bigfoot and only Bigfoot. We're not going to talk about the weird orbs that were seen around the Bigfoot, or the weird looking little Dewindy creatures that you saw. That's too weird. We want to pretend like Bigfoot and Dogman are completely flesh and blood, and there's nothing weird, nothing to see here, people. I'm so sick and tired of that. I get that all the time. My show, and then when somebody comes on and says my wheelhouse is just Dogman, well, you're not paying attention, dude, because I believe it's all connected. I've said this multiple times, and the guy sitting next to me right here, he's been there when I've interviewed witnesses. He's eaten dinner with people that we've interviewed for witnesses. Anthony, you have too. And am I right? Yes or no, Anthony?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Multiple times. And these people report more than just one type of phenomena. It's not just one thing. Somebody just put, this is how Satan covers his tracks. Very possible. When we can't agree on the time of day because we can't get everybody's story out. I had a researcher turned podcaster recently tell me, and I'm not going to even give the gender of the person because that'll give it away, but this person said that they don't give the person the platform, because then it destroys the credibility of their encounter if they tell them the whole story. And I'm going like, how do you even classify that as one type of encounter? I don't even understand like how that even works. That is the noisiest chair in Texas, man. This chair he's got. Your chair is very noisy, my man.
But anyways, folks, that just burns me like to the ground. I mean, I cannot believe all these people. Some of these people have big shows too, and they just exclude anything that is, as they call it, woo, when 90% of it involves that. I've even had some of them tell me, yeah, that's real. That's what happens. We are dealing with that, but they still don't talk about it. They don't put it on the air. They just doesn't. They don't want to. It doesn't put the butts in the seats, so they don't. Their show is about that, and that's all there is, and they don't want to hear anything else about it. I mean, that's just and that's their prerogative. They can, they can do that. They can say that, and nobody can change it because it's their show. A lot of these very popular hosts, that's what they're all about. They're just about specializing in one area of whatever, and that's all they're going to talk about. They're not going to talk about the different phenomena that goes along with all that. I mean, 90% of the time, there's other stuff going on. I don't know. You guys give me your opinions about that. I mean,
yeah, we've had a lot of people saying that it's stupid to be that closed-minded because nobody really knows what's going on.
And you can't get the truth like that.
Mm-mm.
You can't really get to you can't get any answers. Everybody says, hey, we want answers. We want this. We want the truth. You're never going to get the truth. You're never going to get the answers because that's what's going on. That's what's always going to go on. These people aren't going to change their format. They're just going to do that, and that's it.
Yeah. Ryan here said that despite what some argued, I believe that Bigfoot and Dogman could be Topa-like beings.
Very possible. Very possible.
And Titan asked if you ever heard a story where a person rebuked the Dogman in the name of the Lord.
Oh yeah,
and had the Dogman shrink back.
I had somebody tell me just recently that they did that. That there was they didn't know what a Dogman was. They were relatively new to listening to my show, and it was somebody that I had met literally just going to a store, and I gave them a business card because we always talk to people, and this person gave that business card to their significant other, and that person contacted me, and we started talking, in Messenger or whatever, and they were like saying that they had an encounter in Belton, Texas, and this creature came out of the darkness, and it had a wolf-like appearance, but they didn't really know what a Dogman was. They weren't they didn't call it a Dogman. They just said it had a wolf-like appearance, but it looked almost like it sounded kind of like a skinwalker, but I couldn't put a label on it, but it was just a wolf-like creature, and they started yelling at it in Jesus' name, be gone, whatever, and this thing stopped and just watched them walk by and then retreated back into the woods. So if that story's to be believed, I've heard a couple other stories like that with the ethereal Dogman. I say ethereal because they appear and then disappear. That's something that I've heard of happening. Somebody just said, the Dogman encounter, I rebuked it in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, and it stopped bluff charging us, put its hand down, and walked away like a scorned puppy. When was this? Because, if it's a flesh and blood creature, and I'm not saying that the power of Christ can't stop a lion. Obviously, Daniel in the lion's den, it's a story in the Bible, where God shut the mouths of the lions. I'm not saying that the power of Christ can't save you from an animal, but typically an animal is not going to be as affected by, spirituality, whereas something that's evil, wholly evil, that is, that's basically what it is. Its makeup is evil. It's going to be it's going to be hurt by that,
Cryptids are connected to the spiritual realm or strictly flesh and blood?
I don't think cryptids are connected strictly flesh and blood. I tell you that I think that they're both, and I think that they move in and out of. The Scorpion can tell you, we lived in a house for years that was haunted.
Yep.
And things would manifest as spirit and flesh. I mean, it would move and manipulate things. They would physically move and manipulate things. It wasn't one or the other. It was like both.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe some of them flesh and blood. I believe some of them are spiritual, and I believe some can go back and forth between both the flesh and blood and the spiritual.
And there's a comment right there I just need to read. It says, no, they're more than flesh and blood, man. Footprints just disappear. Too many cases, people experience them coming through portals and seeing them emerging from orbs. When I first started dealing with the dog man, let's just focus on that for a second. When I first started dealing with the dog man phenomena, I did believe that they were completely a flesh and blood phenomena. Like I kind of believed that, and then the stripes thing kind of made me believe that. But then I started to delve deeper into like the Hernandez Ranch and the things that were going on there at that particular place. And Scorpion, you know the people from the Hernandez Ranch as well as I do, but they told us stories of these things doing really supernatural things, like very what is the word? Esoteric. I don't know what is the word. Like when we were being told by he's not his real name, but Jerry, when he was telling us about some of the things that would happen. It sounded almost like some of the for this last round of investigations when we were working at Palo Santos, when he was talking about some of the it sounded very spiritual. Yeah. Right. I mean, would you classify it as that?
Yeah. I mean, some of the things he said sounded like, and it wasn't the full flesh and blood.
No.
And that it would go back and forth between the two.
Mm-hmm. The ball of light that his brother saw. Outside the window, that was, and then the whole, thing with Joe believing that it was like a curse, that was like a bruja, that these people they were shapeshifters that had bred and created these creatures, and it gets into some weird stuff, dude. And these people, we worked with these people for years, so it's not like they were just going to be like, hey, one day after working with you for 3 years, let me just make up some stuff, about all this. And let me go and get a bunch of other guys that live around me, and they all just make up a bunch of stuff too. It's like, that's not, no. I don't believe that's what they did. I don't believe, and when we got another guy, that we interviewed, Anthony, Ernest.
Oh yeah.
And we saw him at the store at Christmas time or whatever, and we talked to him. We're going to try and get him on to come on and talk, and he bought land adjacent to the Hernandez Ranch, right?
Yep.
And he's having this same phenomena, and it's not all flesh and blood. I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff going on, dude, and I mean, you can't deny what these people are going through, because we're talking about, with the Hernandez Ranch people, you're talking about what, maybe 10 different people we've interviewed, maybe more. And every one of them has
10.
Yeah, at least 10. I wouldn't say 10 to 12, as they say, maybe somewhere in between there. I don't think it's quite been a dozen people, but somewhere, approaching that number. And they've all said the same thing. I mean, like it's they're not completely flesh and blood, but they're not really ghosts either. I mean, I don't know how to describe it. It's not like you're dealing with. It's not like you can grab these headphones and it's solid. You know what I mean? You can sit here and you can manipulate them. To me, the phenomenon with these creatures is like, it's something like we have never seen. We don't understand it. They have the power of like a predator, like a wild animal, but they also do these weird things that just don't even make any sense. It's just hard to even wrap your mind around or fathom.
We had somebody up here earlier say thank you for the shout out to her daughter Lizzie. Now she thinks she's famous.
Oh yeah, that's from last week. I heard. Remember we did the shout out to I think his name was Mike, but he said he listens to the show with his daughter. Yeah, and then we did a shout out to his daughter Lizzie, and I guess now that's Lizzie's mom saying.
No, it's actually from Mike.
Oh, from Mike. Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go.
What do you think shadow people are? They seem to be demonic. Yeah, that's Diablo's question. We've talked about this, D. I don't know, man. Here's the thing: when we were living in that haunted house, and I know that's why he's asking this question on the deal. Scorpion, you and me and Willie, Squid, Jerome, Diablo, Adam, Chief, everybody that lived there, Loki, people that house sat for us, Jack,
Anybody who spent any significant
anybody
time.
spending time with the twins, anybody spending significant time there, they all said the same thing. They would see shadows. Everybody saw shadows. Sometimes they looked like people. Like there was a shadow that looked like a woman or a girl, and then there was a shadow that looked like the demonic.
That thing that jumped out in and out of the mirror.
The thing that jumped in and out of the mirror was definitely
it
like
was, it was a demonic shadow. It looked like a little nymph.
Yeah, like an imp, like a little demonic entity. But I can't say that 100% like they're demonic, because I mean sometimes, like one time I heard what sounded like laughter and kids playing in the backyard, and I was sitting in my office, and the office you could clearly see into the backyard, and there was the shadow of a little girl that appeared on the Jalice door, on the glass, on the curtain, and I was like, that's weird. I wasn't home by myself. I believe you were in your room, and I told you. I think you were in that second bedroom, and I said something, and then
Didn't Willie or Jerome see one against?
Yeah, he saw one too.
Threw a sock at it.
That was me and Willie. That was me and Willie. Yeah, but this one I remember yelling, and like you or D, one of y'all came out of the bedroom and looked, and it was gone. But it appeared to me as like a child, and it just kind of faded back away. It was very weird. The sun did not really
affect your eyes.
Yeah, the sun was not, because there were so many trees, oak trees in that backyard, that the sun barely penetrated. Sometimes you'd be middle of the day, you wouldn't even know. You're back there, it's so cool back there, and you wouldn't even know that it was daytime. Especially if it's getting closer to dark, it's already dark, And
I love barbecuing back there during the summertime.
Yeah, it was nice. And it was nice. And then we had the cross breeze. It was a nice place. It just had problems, And so the rent was very cheap, which was big time to have in Austin. Everybody's like, that's all you pay? And I was like, well, yeah, because our house is haunted. And people would laugh. They thought we were joking. I wasn't joking. But I saw this shadow of a little girl, and it just looked like it was there, and then it was just gone. And by the time you came out, it was like, it was gone. But multiple people saw it. The shadow of what looked like a child, or like a little girl, not like a little bitty girl, but like a young girl. And there was a shadow of what looked like an older, like a woman, like maybe a grandmother-y figure. There was a shadow that looked like a man, just like a man. And then there was shadows that looked like demonic entities. There's no other way. They just look demonic, absolutely demonic.
I remember you told me a story about one of those entities saving your job.
Yeah, something slapped me on my back.
According to that mirror, that came with the house.
Yeah, the mirror was there when we moved in. We weren't trying to have that mirror, but it was what it was.
Yeah, so when we moved, we left it there too.
Stephen O'Connell, any Dogman, Battle Goatman stories? Not as of yet.
They were the good deuces. I remember a La Llorona story. The video he saw where the woman kind of turns into a shadow and disappears.
Who did?
La Llorona.
But who saw it?
Lou the good. He said he saw it on the video. Lou the good dude saw it in the video.
Nick Bash. I think humans can do things that are paranormal also. We're just not tuned into it. That's true.
And Stimulate says there was this wolf demon his great aunt would keep seeing around the house when people were asleep. Made her literally lose her mind and go insane.
Ever heard of someone raising and living with a dogman? Check out Dogman latest episode. Okay, so basically they're copying the story that we broke with Stripes. Because I had never heard of anything like that whenever I was told that. And that wasn't a story that I was told at the beginning when I first talked to Jerry, when I was on Dogman Encounters 1 at 116. We didn't start talking about that. He just said, look, my uncle's got a crazy story about a dogman. You got to, he didn't call it dogman, but, one of these creatures. You got to listen to his story. And then when I got that story, that's when I went back on episode 136 and we talked about Stripes. And I've heard a few stories since then of like people having like dogmen, babies or puppies, whatever the heck you want to call them. But that's the only one I've ever been able to really confirm. I don't really know.
About the little people's stories. It says M. Dane says, I seen a video where kids were playing inside a game and this little thing you ran across the room scared the kids and he jumped watching it. And then Sarah Ann says a Filipino man she worked with told her about little people who would climb the vines of the trees in the backyard. It was a normal thing to them. You ever heard of things like that? Little people?
Yeah, I've heard lots of little people stories. I got a bunch of them. We need to go ahead and come back and start doing some episodes on them. I got enough stories now for probably 2 solid episodes. Goatman versus Dogman. Place your bets. Goatman seems to be definitely a very ethereal being. And I don't know. You see them in the same areas too, which is weird. I do believe that Dogman can be flesh and blood just because I believe in the Nephilim and I believe that they could be a type of the bloodline of the Nephilim. And if they are flesh and blood, that's where they come from. I'm convinced of that. I'm going to tell you right now, me and Ryan spent a good long talk with Ken Gerhardt. And I'm not telling you that Ken Gerhardt or Lyle or any of my other friends are the absolute authority on cryptids, but I can tell you what Ken believes and what several of the other researchers believe, that Dogman is supernatural. It is a supernatural creature. They do not believe that this thing is a flesh and blood creature that's running around out there. They just don't believe it. I mean, it's just something that is. For me, I just cannot grasp the idea of something such an aberration just running around out there, just being a normal flesh and blood creature that somehow evolved into this wolf thing that can stand upright and run around on 2 legs. It just doesn't make sense to me. It makes no sense. I don't care what the Dogman whisperers say. I just do not believe it. I mean, they don't have any evidence. They lie. Some of these researchers, these so-called researchers, they fabricate, they lie, they say that they have evidence that they don't. Ryan, in particular, spent 2 hours wasting his time interviewing one of these very popular supposed Dogman authorities, and in the end, he had nothing. He had no real evidence, nothing. He can't prove anything. He just cannot do it. He'll argue until the cows come home that they're flesh and blood, and that he's got proof, but he really doesn't. And he goes in different groups and just picks fights and argues with people. And I'm not going to mention his name because I don't want to eventually, maybe one day I'll just come out and say it. But I mean, because it's going to get to that point because the guy's just a troublemaker and needs to be shunned from the community because he's nothing but a liar and a fraud. And he goes around telling people that he's the authority, and he argues with people, he picks fights, and he creates division and all kinds of strife because he's got these people actually believing that he's got some kind of evidence, which he doesn't. I mean, it's just simple as that. He's got no evidence. Tried to get this one particular researcher on my show and just, come on, lay it out there. You got evidence. Let's see it. And like I said, he wasted Brian's time, on an interview when he was doing it with that other fool that was doing venomous whatever. And they wasted their time. And the guy then said, "Oh, I'm not going to let you use it." Why not? Why not? Because you're not telling the truth. Because you're fabricating. Because it's not real. Your supposed evidence is not real. Because if you had it, you would already let people know. Okay? And it would be the end of that. We would be over with it. We would at least know for sure that there is at least a flesh and blood creature.
Yeah.
You're never going to get proof of the ethereal version of it because it's not going to let you do that.
No.
But you could at least say, okay, we know for sure that there is at least a physical one. Where's the proof?
Yeah.
Where's the proof?
Oh, here's a question. It says, Josh, have you ever heard of people saying that emails containing stories/encounters or any evidence disappear/get deleted without their knowledge?
What is that? What do you mean?
Like emails and encounters being just deleted randomly from email.
I really shouldn't talk about. I will say this, okay? There was a picture I had, and these two have seen it. Very popular podcaster and another very popular researcher and author saw these pictures. I'm not going to mention names of people because it puts them on the spot, but the picture was from Minnesota, and there was a woman that took a picture, okay, and it unless it was photoshopped, and this was a 68-year-old woman, I don't know how she knew how to do Photoshop unless her grandson or somebody was coaching her, which is very possible. Maybe her millennial grandson was teaching her. I don't know. Not taking anything away from a boomer, but they don't typically know how to use Photoshop. But it showed what looked like a wolf-headed creature standing over the fence. And Scorp, I know you remember that picture.
Mm-hmm.
And the wolf was, and you could see the shoulders. And so I had this picture, and I sent it to 2 or 3 different sources to get it looked at, and they tried to tell me that me and Sal, my old co-host Armando, we looked high and low on Google search to try to find the source of this picture, and we could not. And then later on, there was a source for it, and it said that it was of a wolf. The mouth, the head, the shoulders, nothing looked like a regular wolf to me.
No, it didn't.
If it was a wolf, it was the weirdest looking wolf I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And it was able to stand up on its hind legs over a privacy fence. And this woman took this photo. We lost touch with her. Like we were talking to her. We had her story. I'm still waiting, maybe hoping against hope one day that she'll resurface. Quit responding to emails. And me, and I'd say probably half a dozen other people had that picture taken off of it just was gone. I did manage to retrieve off of Google what I believe to be the edited version of the picture, which just shows the head. And then I saw the picture of it when another snotty podcaster guy wanted to try to prove to me that I was wrong. He showed me the picture of that on a wolf's body, which looked weird because the head was gigantic compared to the body. So I'm going like, that's the head that was on the creature, not on that wolf's body. It's weird, dude. It's a weird thing. I don't know. The other people that I was involved within this situation, if they want to come forward and talk about it, that's on them. They can talk about it. I'm just telling you what happened to us. My wife can attest to this. Anthony, Scorp, everybody saw the picture. I showed lots of people. But it was a weird picture, and it's gone. I no longer have that picture. It's not on my phone. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, people could say, "Oh, you're lying," but the truth is, there was a picture.
Yeah, there was a picture. I saw it myself.
Yes, there was, and that picture's now gone. It's deleted off of my phone, and it deleted off of your phone. It happened during an update. If you can believe that, I'm telling you the truth. This is the truth. And the other podcaster, he called me up and he said, "Dude, it's gone. It's not. It's off of the his phone. It was off of the computer." And then some other idiots that were, that they tried to laugh at me and say that we were stupid and gullible and whatever. And I'm like, that's not the correct picture. Okay, that you're not looking at the whole picture. The picture we saw clearly showed what looked like a dog man standing over a fence.
Mm-hmm.
And before we released the picture to say, hey, we had proof, we had evidence, we wanted to put it through the ringer, and we were having it analyzed, and then it disappeared. So that picture is gone. It's lost to whatever. You might be able to find the picture with it on top of a wolf's body that look, like I said, it looks weird. Actually, I don't know about it because I looked for it, maybe a couple, 3 months ago to show somebody, and I couldn't find it. So, but that's my experience with. That's as close as I've come to seeing, the whatever.
Oh, here's one that you've gone over before. M357 Rex says, "Do you think the Nephilim are of biblical or extraterrestrial origin, or neither?"
Possibly both. The Anunnaki are from, there's a lot of weird stuff. Like, that's why I want to get my friend Nick Taylor back to come on the show. And like I said, people didn't like when he came on, when Tony Duran was on, and we talked about the demon dogs or whatever. But he has a lot of good information, and he does talk about the Anunnaki and there are Sumerian tablets that have these stories of these very large humans. I mean, they look like they're twice the size of us, and I'm a big guy, but I mean, they're twice the size we are, and that could explain what the Watchers are. And it could explain what we think of as God, like what the people were seeing that they were calling God or gods, because I believe in God as in Christ. I believe that Christ. Okay, here's what I believe. I believe that Christ, found what he was looking for when he was gone for 20 years, and he returned. And when he returned to Jerusalem, he was like, okay, y'all are all wrong, and this is what I found, and I've become enlightened. Not that he wasn't born enlightened, but he learned. And then when he discovered, the truth about the nature of the universe, and he learned, and then he spread what he knew. He traded knowledge, I think that he came and said, hey, this is the true nature of the universe, and that's been revealed to me completely, and I'm revealing what I know to be true. He was crucified, and so I believe that his father is the God of all things, the God of the universe, the God that controls everything, the multiverse, the big G, if you will. And these Anunnaki were the little G, but to the average Stone Age human, they were gods, right? I mean, they were like. We were peons to them, so they were like God.
Yeah.
And and Nick can come on at some point and talk about all that. My friend Mimi Chesmore, she's got a bunch of information and knowledge about that, and we have so many things in the works, that hopefully we can get them all together at some point and we can do it. Crazy stuff going on in Antarctica. Yep. Ryan, you eventually going to get the account of the giant of Kandahar. Yeah, he can do that one because I have a couple giant stories. So Ryan, that's a good idea. If you want to do one just on giants, alone, I got a couple stories. One was out of Alaska that somebody claimed to have seen, and then my wife's not blood brother, but brother, that she considers a brother by, I guess it would be her sister's brother-in-law, had an encounter with a giant. That chair is just driving me nuts, dude. We got any WD-40?
I don't think we have it here.
I'm sorry, folks, but Scorpion, no
Just
fault.
can't sit still.
Well, it's no fault of his. It's hard to just sit still. That chair, any little movement you make, it just makes a lot of noise. Yeah, Ryan made a good point. And let's be honest, if anyone had solid evidence pertaining to Dogman, they'd come out simply because there's a lot of money to be made.
Oh yeah.
See, I didn't put that picture out all over the place because I wanted to make sure that we could verify it. But the fact that it disappeared tells me something. I think it was real. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was real.
Yeah, I mean, it looked.
It was scary looking.
It was a very scary looking creature. I showed my Uncle Butch, and been living out in the country his whole life, and it was scary to him, and he's seen it all. So.
Somebody said something earlier about the giants from the Bible or Nephilim. Or asked if they were Nephilim. I believe they were.
Yeah, very possible. Whisper. The government can do anything they want. Yeah, they can. Would you guys like us to do like a series on the Nephilim and tie it all together as best we can? Because I could bring on a couple different people that could just talk about it, my wife included, and just do a round table and just talk about it. This guy says, it's pretty funny. Some of these dogman stories are getting out of hand. I heard a story where a dogman threw up a gang sign before running back to his woods. I'll say this. If the dogman phenomena is to be believed in the way that it is a flesh and blood creature and it's just like an animalistic type, then they're ridiculous. But if it's not, I'm not talking about the gang sign thing. That's silly. But what I'm talking about is, if this creature is what I believe it is, and it has a supernatural origin and has abilities that we don't grasp, then I believe that anything's possible, especially if they have human-like intelligence, like so many people have tried to tell me. What's even more idiotic, though, is that some of the flesh and blood people try to say that they have human-like intelligence. I'm like, okay, so they evolved from some sort of wolf that can stand upright and run around on two legs, okay, which is preposterous. First of all, I don't even believe that. But then they also have human level intelligence. Like, how did that work? How did they get the human level intelligence if they're just an evolved wolf? So dumb. That's stupid. That's really stupid. Think about what you're saying. And one idiot even said that they could use computers and drive cars. And the guy's an idiot, believe me. But I'm going to tell you right now, that's not the case. I mean, you're not going to have Dogman doing people's taxes and, working at the beauty salon. Give me a break, dude. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if this creature, you can't have your cake and eat it too. It doesn't have human level intelligence if it is nothing but a flesh and blood creature. That's just not the case. I know why would a wolf have the level intelligence of a human? Doesn't make any sense. Use your head. I mean, come on. I've heard a lot of silly stories over the years. And I mean silly stories. I've heard some silly stuff. I mean, and you know what? Those silly stories never made it onto my podcast. They didn't make it onto Vic's show either when I would go on his show. They didn't make it onto the other 3 or 4 shows that I've been on from other people's shows, I never talk about it on there. I do, because those are not. It's just not. That's not the case. I mean, it's just not. So. Any good goblin stories? Yes, we do have some good goblin stories. Anything not of Earth, extraterrestrial? Yes, we have extraterrestrial stories. Maybe we should switch chairs. Maybe he should have a different chair or something. That chair right there is just making lots of noise.
We'll switch them up.
They're gonna switch chairs, folks, because Scorpion's chair is just noisy. We need to get that WD-40 and put a little squirt underneath there, and we'll be fine. Somebody said here, I was listening to another YouTuber. It was suggested that it was a government program, a dogman fighting force. Richard, this is no knock on you, sir. You're not. I'm not rolling my eyes at you. I just think that's not. They think that's ridiculous. I'm sorry. I just do.
We got 357 Rex saying any Pukwudgie encounters. Yes. You can go to Ryan's Whisper to a Scream podcast and listen to the first episode. It's all about the Pukwudgie.
What? No, that's the Gugwe.
Oh, no. Oh, that's right, the Gugwe.
Now listen to this kid.
Actually, one of our early episodes was about the Pukwudgie.
Yeah, we talk about these Pukwudgies, but more like just the Dwindi and the little people all together. Sarah Ann Wolf, what is up with the lack of photographic evidence? I believe, but what is going on? I'll tell you what. I just talked about that. The lack of photographic evidence is because they're supernatural entities. I mean, it's just crazy. I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a crazy story I got. This story, I don't even remember what state it was. I have to go back and look because I didn't come prepared with notes to tell stories and whatnot. I am going to tell a Dogman story before the show's over. I'm going to tell you a Dogman story. And I give Bettina Moss credit for that because of her group. I read it on her group and I took it off of there and I thought I'm going to tell this story on the show. So I'm giving them credit for that. And you know what? I don't even know the name of that group. So I think her name of her group is Crypto Normal or something like that. I wish I knew the name of it off the top of my head, but I want to give her credit for that. But anyway, it's a pretty cool story. But I'll tell you a story. This is a story that was told to me, and I got the photographs. but you can't really look and tell, okay, this is what this is. There are 3 people, there are 4 people in the picture. One in particular in these 3 different photographs is just of a person faded. They look faded because this woman claims, and I think this was out of Virginia, I believe. I don't want to quote that 100%, but that the picture was of someone who was faded, and they looked like almost like a ghost. But she said that it was her brother who could actually make himself, when he was photographed, he had the ability, almost like, this is weird, it's almost like X-Men type stuff, and I don't know what to believe with this. I'm going to tell you the story, and you, the listeners, can take it for what it's worth. You can believe it or not believe it. I don't know what to believe. This person has not sent me all kinds of weird stuff and weird stories, and is not prone to all kinds of weird, fantastical whatever. She just said that growing up, her brother, who ended up going in the military and becoming special forces and was in Afghanistan, but that he had the ability to not be fully photographed, to where you could see through him in photographs. The Polaroid pictures that I was given copy of, I mean, if I post them, it just looks like a bad picture. You know what I mean? And I don't really take that as proof, of anything. But the theory, the idea, it is kind of sound. I mean, it's like there are people who can. I was watching a show from years ago, and it might have been In Search Of or Ripley's Believe It or Not. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like one of those shows I watched as a kid. I was kind of halfway into it, but they had a guy who they could take photographs of his mind, and they took a picture of what he was thinking about, and they gave him a picture to look at. And the guy, I don't know if y'all remember this, if any of y'all have seen this, but there was a guy who they would show him a picture of like a boat, and then he would close his eyes, and then they would take a picture, and the photo would show up of what he was told to look at.
I don't know if it was the same guy, but there was something I saw on a TV show one time where this guy would put his hand over a video camera and just think of something, and it would appear on the camera. He did like 3-4 different things at one time in that video.
M. Dane, thank you for your donation. Appreciate that. Did you have a comment?
No, I think it was like one of those like those stickers.
I appreciate it, Dane.
Oh no, yeah, it was just a donation.
I had saw somebody asked earlier about the popping sound heard when Dogman go from all fours to standing up.
Yeah, I've talked to many like paranormal, authors and people who are involved in the paranormal, ghosts, books, things that that nature. I've read a lot of books about different stuff. One of the things you'll see though in the whole haunting phenomena with spirits is the popping noise, and eventually I'm going to talk about that when I get into this story about this bank building I used to work at. And there was a popping noise that was heard multiple times in that building. It was just like a pop, pop. Nellie was reading a book that is kind of controversial and considered to be a very spiritual nature, and she heard a snapping noise. And I've heard lots of reports of that. I've had this lady recently who got in touch with me and said she was reading from the Urantia book, and she heard like a snapping, popping noise. Not saying that that's the same thing as the Dogman. I think with the Dogman, when they move up and down, they stand up and down, there's like a popping noise. And I always thought that that's what that was, but I've also gotten reports, especially as of late, of these things moving up and down, but also when they go down to all fours, when they do any kind of movement that changes the fluidity of what they're doing, it's like there's this popping noise that's heard. I've heard of them appearing, and when they appear, it's like pop, pop. There's a noise. like somebody saw two of them, like woof woof, out of these white flashes, and there was a pop noise. You know, so I don't know. There could be two different things going on there. It could be all the same. It could be all related. I have no idea. I just know that these people who are 100% with the flesh and blood theory or whatever, I think that they're completely off base, and a lot of them, like I said, they're basing what they believe on one guy. They believe there's this one guy who claims that he's got all this evidence and that he's been out there in the field, you know, doing all this stuff. And that one guy has kind of turned the whole, you know, the whole field on its head, because there's a lot of people who are disciples of this dude and believe in his research and his work. And it's got absolutely zero credibility with me. Never produced nothing viable that I could use. Sound clips that didn't sound like, you know, just nothing, absolutely nothing. I mean, you know, maybe he did see some stuff out there, but it didn't prove that it was flesh and blood or not flesh and blood. So, you know, I don't know. Just to me, the whole thing is preposterous. You know, this guy just going around telling everybody he's got all this evidence and he's got these acolytes, these people that just fall all over themselves to believe that that's what it is. And you got idiot podcasters out there claiming that they got the answers. You know, yeah, I believe that's what it is. You know, at the end of the day, really, who are we to know what it is? You know, you can say that you think maybe this is what it is, but we don't have anything conclusive at all. If it is flesh and blood, show me the proof. Period.
Yeah. Stay UBUS. Josh, do you have any stories about the Superstition Mountains in Arizona? They're considered to be filled with paranormal activity.
Heard stories out of there. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but yeah, I can go back and look in my folders and see what I got. In fact, I know I got a couple. And one I think I got out of the Superstition Mountain was somebody that was mining for gold, and their friend was abducted by a reptilian. That was a story I read. I think I read it in like Fate magazine or something like that. But I can go back and I can read it, see what because I wrote it down. I write down the stories that are, you know, and I try to follow up on them. Pick out a question there, Anthony. Give me something.
Let me see. Sarah Ann says, "What are your thoughts on missing 411?"
Well, I know that recently David Paulides is dealing with a horrible tragedy. My thoughts on the missing 411. I'm with David when he says that there's some of these things, these cryptids could be responsible for some of these disappearances. I mean, he's seen Bigfoot. Any accounts of Dogman being directly related to witchcraft? Yes. Says here, I'd like to talk to you sometime, Josh. My son wants to tell you our stories from our haunted house and other things whenever you get the time. Hit me up on Messenger or send me an email and we can talk. How did everybody like the first episode with Nick Valente? Give me your opinions right here. Tell me what you think. Sorry, folks, I had to take a lozenge in my throat.
That's odd. Corey Cole says, I heard a popping sound coming from a grave one night. in an old cemetery. When I tried to get closer, it would shock me like static electricity.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Heard of stuff, weird stuff like that. Wolf, I heard weird podcasts about Dogman being part of German experiments. Never heard anything like that.
Titan asked if you've heard of any Dogman account of Dogman being directly related to witchcraft.
Yeah, I just answered that. Yes, you're right, Pat. Gonna need to take that chair out back and show it who's boss. That's right. Well, because I mean, can't expect my friend to just sit here perfectly still like a mannequin. Heck, I'm moving around too. Just sit that in that chair was just making too much noise.
When Anthony sat in it for a minute, it made that.
Well, Anthony's perfect. He does no wrong. So if he sits in it, it doesn't move. It doesn't make noise.
Well, it hasn't been making noise since I've been sitting in it. So there you go.
Well, you're also a mannequin. So there you go.
Yeah, I don't need a squirm.
Isn't Anthony like the rudest person? Don't you think? Let's take a vote. How rude he is. First,
you know what's rude is
I told him.
You know what's rude is ignoring your listeners to talk to me.
First, I couldn't.
No one cares about me. They're here for you.
Folks, my listeners,
it's a Tuesday Q&A with Josh Turner. Not listen to Josh Turner talk about other things.
Over here popping off.
Okay, he's
popping noises.
He's disrespecting all of you right now by not answering your questions and ignoring you completely to talk about me.
Actually, Anthony, these people show up not just for Josh,
the absolute disrespect
for all of us,
to the listeners,
because they say hello to everybody.
Not
when they come on
disrespecting my
here.
listeners, folks. This kid's out of his mind.
Well, Josh Turner Wolf is the star of the show, not Anthony, not Scorpion, not nobody.
PRT. There's no stars here.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say it. You're the star.
That's your opinion. I appreciate it. Would you like an autograph, young man? You can be anything you want.
So look,
president.
All these comments, and you're still talking to me.
Here's the thing, because I'm
not
trying
the
to get out
listeners.
what I had to say, and this guy's so defensive. I think it was very rude of him earlier when I said I couldn't read the deal, and it was too small. He starts yelling at me. What kind of nephew yells at his uncle like that? There would have been a time when I could snap my fingers.
Oh yes, I beat him too and take his food.
They just throw him over the rail over here. But you know, those days are over. I don't do those bad things anymore. Jason Lawrence, thank you. 215 people and only 75 likes. I deal with that all the time, man. Josh, the fact that your video photographic evidence on your email or phone was deleted shows there's something to hide. Yes, I believe, Charlie, thank you very much.
Yep.
And you know what, folks, this is the first time that I've actually talked about this up front. A very good friend of mine who was a podcaster, he's not doing it, whatever. He was convinced that we should come forward and say, hey, you know, tell people what happened. And I'm like, what is that going to prove? It came up today and we told the truth about what happened, right, Scorp?
Yep.
But what good does that prove? That we all lost the picture? I mean, everybody that was a part of my team and two other shows' teams lost the picture. And a very, very, very popular podcaster lost it too. He had it too. Well, I mean, but what good does it do? What can we do about it? We can't do anything about it. We can't, you know. So talking about it up to this point has never been an issue to me because why? You know.
Yeah.
Here's a question from Jesus Amaya. He's asking if the Cadejo is the same as the Dogman.
I was about to get to that one. Yeah, no, because the Cadejo and Dogman are two totally different things.
Yeah.
Related. They're like cousins.
Yeah. The Cadejo is traditionally the belief is that it's like a canine spirit. Yeah. But
like a hellhound type
whereas the Dogman, I mean, we don't know what it is. It's just it could be a flesh and blood creature running around. Some of these, maybe that's what they are, and maybe others are a lot more complicated than that. Maybe they're spiritual entities. Nobody knows. And,
yeah, it's
we can't pretend to know.
We don't know. Hey, it's Alex. One of my little nephews says here, hey, it's me, Alex, and Anna and Jasmine are watching. Alex, what time do you go to bed, son? It's already 9:46.
Is that a current comment or like?
Yeah, he just put it on there. He put it on there at 9. What time was that? 9:35.
No, it's 9:46 right now.
Yeah, 10 minutes ago.
Dang, he's up late.
Hey, mijo. I hope you're having fun with your Nintendo Switch. Don't play it too much. Get your schoolwork done.
Karen's Justin says Anthony is cute.
Yeah, he's got a lot of cutesy poo comments. Know that.
Hmm.
Charlie Briggs says you heard about vampires in Afghanistan via military.
We'll get to that in a second here. Let me say something here. The I can't say it. Weird you say that. A coworker and I heard a loud popping, crackling noise while I was listening to a paranormal podcast talking about a haunting. This happened today.
Yeah, I saw that coming.
I don't know if Starscream is listening out there, but one time we were in the back of the club, and we were walking up the stairs and we were talking. And as I was walking up the stairs, Squid comes out the top of the back stairwell. Remember that the middle back stairwell when it goes up to where the dance floor or where the pizza shop used to be, the dance floor. And as we were walking up, we heard but I can't do it loud enough, like 3 loud pops, like somebody clapped their hands, and it was like in between me and Starscream and Squid. And I was like, "What was that?" And I remember Chico telling us at one time that he heard a snapping noise in the back. So I don't know what that is, dude. It's weird. That popping noise, it shows up. I don't know. Yeah, it says the guy on the Dogman cams 2 days ago says it's their feet. I don't think it's their feet. I think it could be their hips. It could be a number of things. I mean, who knows? I know that one time years ago we had a roommate, and when we have this key that this is another weird thing about us in our household. We have a key that pops in and out of existence. As weird as that sounds, we did a show about it called was it Cursed Objects? I think we should have just called it the Cursed Key, but what?
Nothing.
But one of our old roommates that lived with us for a little while, he claimed that he heard a popping noise coming from the hallway that sounded like that. Just like this, just like a bottle of water. Like he took a bottle and he said it went 1, 2, 3. But it was like, an empty bottle of water. And he walks out there and there it is on the floor in the hallway. So you tell me, what is that?
Oh, this question has come up a couple of times. We got one guy asking if you have any encounters in the San Diego area, and then another one a while back asked if you have any from the Bay Area, like San Francisco.
Absolutely. I can tell you one from the San Diego area that me and Vic Cundiff have covered together, and we also talked about it off camera or off the air, whatever you want to call it. And me and him were talking, and actually Scorp, that was a pre-interview that we did when I gave him a batch of stories that we went over that we were going to do on the show. We were in the Sam's parking lot.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
And we had that conversation, and actually this one was pretty cool. It was a woman, this made the newspapers. A woman claims that a werewolf-type creature attacked her in her house and then jumped out of a window. I'm sure y'all have all heard this before. There were signs of forced exit, no signs of forced entry. And that was on one of the conversations that me and Vic Cundiff had. And I was giving him, my brother and my wife were inside shopping, and Scorpio were with me. Mm-hmm. And we were going over the stories that we had gotten from the Hernandez Ranch. We were going over some of the stories, and we had this long conversation with Vic. And that was one of the stories that we talked about. And we had discussed about the Serbian werewolf case and possibly doing it on Vic's show, but Vic doesn't really do the woo. So that one didn't make it onto the show, but I told it on my show, which is good.
Matt M. freaked out some of my coworkers yesterday with Scorpion's church story. He explained the whole leprosy thing, etc., and still one of the scary stories that we've done.
Yeah, and that place we found out is now rubble.
Yeah, it's not standing anymore.
Yeah. Good riddance, just as well.
Stone Moss says Cryptid Brothers Oklahoma podcast. Guy Lance had his phone conversations compromised, talking with guests who claimed they were being harassed.
Being harassed. What? Say it again. What?
It says that the guy Lance has had his phone conversations compromised.
The guy Lance.
Yeah, I guess it's one of the hosts of that show, the Cryptid Brothers of Oklahoma. It says while he was talking to guests, his phone were a conversation while the guests were claiming to be being harassed by spirits or something.
That's weird.
Yeah. Tonight I learned there's a Detroit in Texas.
I didn't even know that.
I didn't either. It's 15 miles east of Paris.
Jason Lawrence, could Dogman be flesh and blood, and when they die, they turn into spirits just like us? Yeah, and I've actually covered there was a stretch of beach. It was either in Maine or Massachusetts, where there was this Dogman type creature, werewolf, whatever, that was seen by people around the town of that area, and I can't remember off the top of my head. I can, if I'm going on the show on Friday, I come prepared. I have the Angel Martin. Thank you. You've been a supporter of the show for a long time. Sometimes we don't always agree, but thank you for your donation. Read the comment, please.
I'm in the Virginias right now. Stories from here. Do you have any stories from here? I guess these mountain roads seem like they'd be booby trapped with cryptids.
I imagine. Be careful up there. So, anyways, this story is, I think I've covered it before on someone's show or my show, or I don't even remember. But there was a werewolf type entity that would be seen, it'd chase some people on a beach. And then over time, the appearance of this creature stopped. And then when people would see it, it would just be walking kind of forlorn, kind of crestfallen look on its, just kind of like the description people would give it was just like it was head down, like it was haggard. I mean, that's the only way I can describe it. I'm trying to give all these words to describe it. And they said that it would just walk, and then it would look toward somebody, and then it would just disappear. Like it would just fade away. Like it was no longer running around flesh and blood, knocking over trash cans, looking in windows. It was just walking on the beach. And it would be seen from time to time walking on the beach, and when someone would look at it, it would look back at them and then just kind of disappear, fade away.
Titan asks if you think some people are more prone to see cryptids than others, if so, why?
Of course, because in my belief that they exist on another vibration than we do, on a different vibration, and you're able to see them like certain people can see spirits. I mean, it just makes sense. Like everybody thinks that they're flesh and blood, Well, why is it that you get accounts of 2 or 3 people running into a cryptid and they report different things? Or one person sees it clearly, another person doesn't get a really good look at it, and the third person doesn't say anything. Why is that? And if we're being honest, I mean, let's be honest. Come on.
Yeah, AKA the Dark Hero. Right now we're doing another contest already that's for drawings of Goatman. So if you want to enter, send your drawings to Paranormal Round Table group on Facebook.
Yeah, no, you're gonna send them to me on Messenger, on Facebook. Send them to me on Messenger, and then, and if you're a listener of the show, like I said, I'll approve your friend request 90% of the time, unless you're openly doing something bad, So send it to me, and I will put them all together and put them on the Paranormal Group page on Facebook, so that everybody can like the pictures. So once I get enough submissions, I'll give it a week or two, and then we'll put them in there. And we're just going to do it again, like in March, just like we did here. We'll do it in March, and then the cash prizes will be awarded along with the PRT merchandise and whatever else.
379 Gromer, if your girlfriend is willing to talk about that, her encounter, she had a dogman encounter where they're at, and they're like 20 minutes from the Red River. If she's willing to talk about that, she can either send a story into Josh's email, or if she's willing, maybe she can come on to the show and talk about it herself.
Yeah, maybe we can talk on the phone and decide if it's something that you can talk about on the show, or if I can just tell your story. I will be making another order for some PRT merch to be giving away on the show. But in the meantime, if you want something, remember, go to PRTpodcast.com and you can order your own, because sometimes the larger orders take a while, because when we order things in bulk. So for the contest winners,
we have a new listener in the chat. They said, "What's up, everybody? New to this channel. What are some of your favorite episodes you would recommend?"
okay, guys, this is for you listeners out there. I'm always talking about the more popular ones: Immortals, Beware of Dog,
Church of the Forgotten.
Church of the Forgotten. It says your battery is running low.
What is?
The computer.
I'll plug it in.
Plug it in. Plug it in. I'm gonna let you guys that are veterans of the show give me what you think are good episodes. Put them on there. Put them on the chat. Let's give this person some ideas of where to start, what to listen to. I like the first episode of the show we did. It was pretty interesting. It was about Goatman. Speaking of Goatman, but it's just the audio was crap, and it was our first go at trying to make the show run and make it work, and now Ryan's experiencing the same thing with Whisper to a Scream. It's called growing pains. We're having problems, with him getting his, because he's doing the editing for it. He's learning what we went through. It's definitely a learning curve to this thing.
Yeah. Brooks says her son is a tattoo artist. She's trying to get him to send one of his drawings in for the contest. Well, keep working on him. See if he'll send one in. So, would you consider Dogman evil beings?
They tend to lean that way. Yeah, I disagree with these people that are like, oh, they're here to protect us and they're good guys, and I communicate with them and give them apples. Yeah, right. Okay, maybe. I don't know. I doubt it. That's very hard to believe. And if they are communicating with you and telling you that, good things or whatever, it's probably not necessarily something you can trust. Does anybody want to give the folks maybe what y'all think of as the better episodes?
One of my favorites was one of our early episodes, which again, since it's an early episode, the audio quality might not be the greatest, and we're still kind of finding our footing. But the content that was my favorite was the I think I called it like Insidious Imps.
Little people.
Yeah, it was like the episode about the little people.
The leprechaun in the closet. Which one was that?
Oh yeah.
That one was.
I don't know the episode number, but I think it's titled "Malicious Little Leprechaun in My Daughter's Closet." That was a really good one too.
Then the one about the cursed objects in our house.
Just because of the way I feel about spiders, the other spider one was really creepy.
Yeah, if you want to be creeped out, that spider one is pretty bad. I mean, there's some, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot to choose from. We have a huge library, which is why that individual that said, "Oh, Dogman is just wheelhouse." Okay, whatever that means.
Matt M says that
the wheel is your doghouse.
4 or 5X.
Huh?
He said, Matt M says he's looking for 4 or 5X clothes in our stores.
We have 5X.
We may or may not. I know that at one point we did, but the supplier, like they'll run out sometimes, and it's just, I mean, we don't have any control over whether or not the supplier has 4 and 5X in stock.
I hope we get some 5X hoodies back in.
Yeah, but it's usually an option to order. I mean, if it's grayed out or if it's saying it's not in stock, then that's the supplier.
I'll take a look when I get home from our studio, and hit me up on Messenger, guys. Feel free to hit me up. I'm not a person that doesn't communicate. You get all these podcasters and authors and researchers, and they're like, "I'm too busy, too good to deal with my fans." Let me tell you something, okay? I run a humongous company. All right, we do very well. We do a lot of business. Okay, it's a very large company. We work a lot. We work. We make decent whatever. And this is not how we make our money. I don't make a living by this show. We work a lot. Okay, I work a lot. Scorp works a lot. Anthony, you work a lot. Anthony's also going to school to become an architect. He's finishing up his degree, and so it really kind of baffles me when these researchers / authors / podcasters are like, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. I just don't have time to talk to my fans or people like that. Yeah, bull crap. Really? You can't be more busy than me. Mm-hmm. Don't give me that nonsense. That's a load of bull right there. I don't know anybody as busy as I am.
Yeah.
So M. Dane was asking what episode is the Leprechaun one. That's episode 61.
Yeah.
I take time out, even as busy as I am, to do the show with Ryan, to drop episodes every Friday, and to do this show here, to do the live stream.
Research,
and we were working at a parking garage last night doing right, Anthony?
Yeah.
All three of us were out doing work. We were all on post last night, and I was doing research. I was interviewing somebody, talking to somebody, and we were driving around a parking garage checking tags. So where are these people talking about they're so busy? You're so busy doing what? Eating Cheetos and looking at your computer screen? Man, get the freaking heck out of here with that crap, man.
And I think this guy, where is it at? I think it was Nick and Bash asked how expensive is it to run a podcast. Well, to get it
cheap.
To get it started, it's not very expensive at all. But if you want to grow it and increase the production quality of it, you will have to spend a lot of time and not an extremely large amount of money, but it's not going to be a small amount either. If you want to get proper equipment to make it sound decent and have a decent setup and pay for all the services you're going to need to get your podcast out onto different platforms, and it's going to cost you a lot of time to grow it, and not a huge amount of money, but it's
not small either.
It's a considerable amount, yeah.
What we're doing, I can tell you right now, we have not, compared to what we've spent, as opposed to what we've made, we haven't made a dime. We are definitely, I guess you would consider it to be in the red.
In the red.
Yeah.
Because we have spent probably 3 times as much. We didn't make any money the first year. And then the second year, 2020, we made a little bit from Google, whatever, but we spent about 3 times as much on getting this show going.
Yeah.
So I would say that we are definitely not nowhere near the black. We would have to make a lot more money to be caught up, and that's fine. I'm doing this. I'm not doing this to make money. I'm doing this. This was a hobby that's kind of become because it's a passion of mine. It's become kind of a responsibility. But I welcome it. I welcome this responsibility because It's something that I've always wanted to do. I'm very interested in the Fortean subject. Fortean is Fortean. Fortean. Look it up. I'm not going to get into the whole definition of what that is. But it's basically like the study of the unknown, the supernatural, the weird, cryptids, alien abduction, UFOs, ghosts, spirits.
Yeah, or like what Joshua Myers
Near-death
asking about the
experience.
mermaids.
Near-death experiences, cryptids of all types. Those are Fortean subjects. Those are what I consider to be, Fortean, whatever research. That's what I do. It's just something that I do, but it's not who I am. I mean, like, I don't define myself like, oh, you're a security guard. I've had people tell me, yeah, security guard. Yeah, I'm a security guard. Just like, you're a person that wears a purple shirt. Just because you have a purple shirt on today, that doesn't mean that, you're Grimace from McDonald's.
Yeah, what you do is not who you are. Who you are is who you are.
I'm a fighter too. I've fought for years. I'm actually thinking about, my buddy Chief wants me to start doing a fight podcast with him, because I was, around that for a long time. I don't know. Well, it depends. I wrestled, I boxed, did all kinds of stuff. The one thing I could say I'm not up to this point is an author, and I wish I was, but I really don't even know where to begin to try to write a book. I wouldn't have time to do it anyway right now. But I try to make time for my fans. And like I said, if you want to have a conversation with me, there's no guarantees that I'm going to be able to get to you, in a timely fashion. But hit me up on Messenger. Maybe we can talk. You got some stories to tell? I love to hear. I love to listen. Sometimes people tell me stories and then they're like, hey, I really don't want you sharing it. Just between us. I'll listen to that too. Maybe eventually you'll come around and we'll chop it up and we can tell the stories, or maybe you can come on the show, If you speak well enough, I'd much rather have somebody just come on the show and tell the stories themselves, but a lot of people don't like that,
Stone Moss wants to know if you'll do a story from Central America. Says they don't do cover-ups. There are stories of many aliens in the mountains and UFO crashes.
It's interesting. Give me the information. Dane, clarify this with me in private. Maybe you can hit me up on Messenger. It says, can you please do a show on the missing Native American women's strange disappearances? That's weird.
We got someone, JD, asking, do you have any stories about what I'm assuming is pronounced Mongolon monster?
Yeah, I saw that.
A creature said to dwell in central and eastern Arizona along the Mongolon Rim. Oh, wait, there's no... Mogolon? I don't know how to say it.
Yeah. Ask Ryan about that. Ryan's from Arizona. I got some weird stories out of the Grand Canyon area and the southern rim in particular. Some weird stuff. Giant lizard eating a red elk. Were those elk? Were those the red elks we saw out there when we were at the Grand Canyon?
Yeah.
Summer before last. And there was like a giant lizard out there that preys upon them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. There are so many questions from so many people. Like, I don't even know how you could ever keep up with all these. It's so hard to get all these.
Oh, apparently it's pronounced Magayon or Magion. I don't know.
Elazul Strafe, thank you for all you do, and God bless. God bless you too. Thank you for your donation.
It's much appreciated. Jimmy Two, I like his name, Jimmy Two Shoes. He says, "Do you know anything about the kid that was dragged from his window and up a cliff in Kentucky? It was reported to an unknown canine attack, I believe."
Yeah, and they said that somehow it was a pit bull or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Jeez, what an awful thing. What is the Alaska Triangle? Charlie B's asking, can we please do the Alaska Triangle, the weird stuff up there?
The Alaskan Triangle. My friend Ken Gerhard did the Missing in Alaska. Wasn't it Missing in Alaska he did?
I think so.
Anyways, me and him, he gave me the 411 on all his different episodes. We talked about all his different episodes at length because Ken is a good friend of mine. And I do talk to him pretty regularly. Actually, I just texted him earlier. I texted him. We talk. I love Ken. He's a great guy. We've grown to be very good friends and colleagues. And him and Vic Cundiff are two people who have been supportive and good friends. But like I said, I got a lot of good friends, a lot of good people in this industry. Linda Godfrey, good friend of mine. Keep her on your prayers. She's been battling her health. I talked to her the other day, just Messenger, and she's been having some issues. And I like her. She's a good person. I like a lot of Blackburn. Nick Redfern, awesome guy. There's a lot of people who aren't that friendly in this field, but there's a lot of good people too. I talk to a lot of different people, a lot of colleagues I do business with them. I get along good with Jody Cook. I get along with Lon Strickler. I get along with Nick Valente. There's a lot of up and comers that I get along with that are good people. They're not all jerk people. There's some jerk people out there, that are just ridiculous, that don't belong anywhere near anything, any of your groups, but those people aren't though. They're not the ones. But anyways, Gerhard did the Missing in Alaska, and there's a show that I think ran alongside that around the same time frame called the Alaskan Triangle, and I want to say it's on Travel Channel, but I'm not 100% on that. But the Alaskan Triangle is a triangle where a lot of weird stuff happens. There's a lot of UFO activity, Bigfoot activity, even Dogman activity. A lot of paranormal stuff happens. I've read stories of hauntings, and I've gotten stories of poltergeist activity, hunters seeing weird things that look like crawlers or Wendigo or rake, whatever you want to call them. I even heard a story of someone who saw a moose like walking around on its hind legs. I mean, it was just weird stuff, very bizarre. I don't even know how to categorize or describe the things that I've read about and heard and had people tell me. It's just weird stuff. But I would say Ken would know a lot about Alaska because he did the show Missing in Alaska.
Yeah, Stone Moss. None of the stories that you hear on the shows come from Reddit. They all come from the people sending in their stories to the emails or from people that we've talked to and interviewed ourselves.
That's not to say that somebody might not have gotten a story from Reddit and then given it to me, and then I thought, oh, this is a good story, because you can't always go back and backtrack it to Reddit to know if it's from there. So yeah, I got accused of that not too long ago. Somebody said that one of the stories I told was from Reddit. Yeah, there were a couple, and I started off by saying, hey, this story we got off of it, but somebody had given me a story. They didn't tell me that it was from Reddit, that's where they got it from. So if that happens, it happens. I mean, it's not like, but it doesn't make it any less interesting. Wendy Williams, thank you for your donation.
Yeah, it says, love supporting the PRT and
A Whisper to a Scream teams. Hardworking, full of integrity and character, all of you guys. Thank you, Wendy.
Obsidian, read his comment, Obsidian.
Obsidian, thank you for your $5 donation. He says, I'm so glad I was finally able to catch you live. Wanted to give my best wishes. I'm still working towards that PhD in creepypasta.
Well, you and another particular podcaster. Sad that there are people that are just muddy the waters with their ridiculousness.
Stephen Gilson asked, do you have any stories in the works about involving biblical demons? Maybe even the devil himself, or maybe secret cult stories.
I can sit here and talk stories about, read the Testament of Solomon, read the Song and Key of Solomon. They'll give you stories about the demons all day long, give you the names of them and what they do, and So let me get into this Dogman story.
While you're doing for that, Anthony, somebody asked what happened to the messenger and PRT group. M. Dane asked that.
Messenger and PRT group. As far as I know, we don't have any sort of group chat going on in there. The mess. I'm not clear on what he's talking about.
Okay, so I just sent Bettina Moss a message. I'm going to have her call me, see if she can call me, because she has a group Yeah, I know. Brenton's videos are private now. That's crazy. Brenton was my friend. He was one of my early influences too when I was first getting involved in this. There were a few guys that were doing this that aren't doing it anymore. A couple of them not by their choice, but
I think someone asked earlier if you would go out into the field to do research.
yes, I do now. I do that, but I'm still not thrilled about it. So can we call someone on the computer and have them talk through the computer, or should they just call on the phone and I put her on?
It'll be easier just to do it on the phone.
Okay, that's what we'll do. If she chooses to call. I don't know if she's going to.
Jason McFadden says, I really want to hear more about that military base you guys talked about on Lon's episode regarding possible captured Sasquatch, etc.
Dulce or Edwards? Because there's a story that my wife has, that we recorded a long time ago, and that we have not ever released it. And we're waiting for the right time to release that. And she had an encounter with something near Edwards Air Force Base. Says, if you're out in the field doing research and you come across a dog man, would you take a picture? Yeah, if you have time. I mean, that's not going to be the first thing on my mind if I just stumble across something. If I'm out there looking for it and I have a camera readily available, but I mean, these phones aren't necessarily the best. They don't necessarily take the best quality. I know that they're advertising the new, one of the new Apples is being able to make movies with and stuff, on a stick, but I don't know if that's, correct. So anyways, I'm going to tell this story that I got from this person's group, and I feel terrible because I can't remember the name of her group, and she's going to call in. I was going to do a little promotion for her. But anyways, she'll call in a minute here. Daniel Prieto, $10. What did he say?
I love your podcast. You're good at. I enjoyed listening to you and the crew. Keep at it, guys.
Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate it. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you to everybody.
God bless you all
donated
who's
so far
donated.
tonight.
I know it's hard to look at this mean-looking mug and go, I'm going to give that guy some money. But if you can get past the mean look and the funky eyebrows, well, appreciate it. So let me go into my messenger here. I'm going to read you guys a story. Like I said, I got this off of another group, but it comes from Dogman, The Monsters Are Real, something like that. It says here, the common threads of evidence in Kingsport about tales of a mysterious creature sworn to exist by Cherokee Indians and sworn to have been seen from time to time by most of the early white settlers living in the valley up and down the Holston River along the river road now known as Big Elm Road near Sensabaugh Tunnel. The creature was legendary even before the first white settlers moved into the area. Cherokee Indians called the creature Olongadoglala, roughly translated as spirit with knife teeth, and knew it as a ghostly, spirit-like creature that is both part human and part dog that roamed the North Fork and the Holston River Valley at night, moaning and bellowing and sometimes killing solitary natives at random. Over time, the name was corrupted by the early white settlers into the Long Dog, mainly because they couldn't pronounce Olongadoglala. The name Long Dog was fitting in the minds of the white people because of the common description of the creature by those who had seen it but escaped attack. The creature was said to lope when it ran, much like a wolverine moves. That is to say, its leaping movement brought its hind legs up under its front legs and its back arched at each stride, not unlike the movement of an inchworm. The creature moved this way at the slow movement or on the run. The scariest, most terrifying sight was to see the creature moving along in its hideous lope off to the side parallel to your path, but gaining on you even as you stepped faster and faster to get home before it caught you. Also, the creature was quite long, some say as long as 5 or 6 feet long, fully outstretched, so that seemed to fit the corrupted Cherokee name. It had perhaps the length of a large, stout panther, but did not look like a panther, and with a much shorter tail. This creature was said to have yellowish, red, glowing eyes that were clearly fiery-looking, glowing in the night. Its breath, and it's difficult to know how someone smelled his breath and survived, was said to have the acrid smell of burning sulfur. Its hair was not sleek and shiny like a panther. Rather, it was matted and oily. Tracks found along the riverbank showed great, long, sharp claws, which would be indicative of a canine, actually. Yet, because the claws aren't retracted. Yet, even though signs and evidence ascribed to the creature were like those of a living beast, it was known to appear and disappear, to take the form of the Long Dog sometimes, and yet sometimes transform into a spirit-like, ghostly shape, like that of a living dead zombie, or vice versa, for lack of a better description. Kingsport, Cherokee, Dogman spirit that the Cherokee Indians believe dwell near the North Fork of the Holston River near Sensabaugh Tunnel. Isn't it interesting that centuries after the Cherokee left this region, that our culture also believes that the same Sensabaugh Tunnel area to be haunted? 2 different cultures in 2 different centuries, and yet both believe that the same area to be haunted. Ask yourself, what are the odds of that? Okay, so you have what people call a haunting, and then you have this dogman creature there. Okay, that's my point. That is actually my point right there. You have the hauntings, and we as a team, me, Scorpion, my brother, my wife, Anthony, Tony, Zane, all of us have fielded reports. Chief, everybody that's involved with PRT and is part of our team, we have all fielded reports of spirit type activity mixed with cryptid activity. It seems to go hand in hand. If you call Dogman a cryptid, like certain people that I call friends, they don't consider Dogman a cryptid. Like we were talking about Ken earlier, he doesn't believe it's cryptid. And this other so-called researcher, this Dogman whisperer, decided to try to argue with him back and forth about how it is flesh and blood cryptid, blah blah blah. Yeah, right, whatever, dude. Produce your evidence of this thing being of some sort of flesh and blood. Like, what is the, like, I can see Bigfoot or Sasquatch being like a flesh and blood creature in some form or another, some of them at least. But how is the Dogman, this spirit creature here that the Cherokee believed in, sounds a lot more like what we're dealing with than, some sort of flesh and blood evolved creature that runs around on two legs when there's no precedent for that anywhere. That's my point.
What's up, Loki?
Loki's on there?
Yeah, Caleb Bice.
Loki, when are you going to come on and talk about your black-eyed kid encounter? People are getting really, really tired of this.
Yeah. You keep hearing them.
I'm going to give them your address so they can start coming to your farm and killing your chickens.
There's motivation.
I had somebody sending me a message earlier about the City of Night and that they are having really bad nightmares and they keep ending up there. It's a real place, folks. Some people poo-poo that and think it's all just a bunch of bull, but it's not. And I get tons and tons of information from people all the time about it after they've heard me talk about it. Some people haven't even gone back and listened or watched the show that episode is on to know what we're talking about. What episode is it again?
I think it's 30 something.
It goes way back into the archives. Episode 39.
Mm-hmm.
You do follow Ed and Lorraine.
The City of Night.
Paranormal Investigations. Now you had Lorraine Warren, Ed and Lorraine Warren. You had Lorraine Warren on the show, didn't you?
No.
No.
What are you talking about?
They asked if you follow their.
When would I?
Wow, man! Just
jeez, folks, I have not had Lorraine.
Stop right there. Don't
Warren,
go.
Who is no
continue
longer,
no further.
Thank you. I don't know what you're talking about. Loki, stop the bull crap. I like to keep my stories private. Yeah, right. Loki's an old friend of ours, guys. One of my brothers from way back. You need to come on the show. Stop BSing. Come on the show and talk about the things that you saw at my old house and talk about some of the things that you've seen. Talk about the naked guy that you had that just showed up on the trail cam in the middle of nowhere. Let's see. The only story of showman story I've heard was playing Pokemon. What?
We got someone who said, "Did you guys hear that Tony Spera is planning on taking several artifacts from the Warren Occult Museum
Well, that's up to
to
him.
convention later this year?" Yeah, good
Yeah,
luck
hey,
with that.
are you there?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Can you hear her through the thing? We want to make sure
have to ask the listeners.
that we can hear you.
Okay, let me know if you need me to put my earbuds in or take it off the speaker.
We're listening right now to see we make sure we got you.
Okay.
Okay, so we got you. We can hear you loud and clear. I read a story that I pulled off of your group, and it was about it was called The Long Dog, and I wanted to give credit where credit was due. that is yours. That was on your group, and you recently started doing a podcast, right?
Yeah, I started doing live streams on Facebook for now until I get ready to swap over to YouTube. But yeah, in the group page, yeah. Yeah,
and so so folks, this is Bettina Moss, and she's a friend of ours, a friend of mine and Ryan's, and she runs a Facebook group. And what is the group called? Because I couldn't remember the name of the group, and I pulled that story off of there, and I thought it was very pertinent to what we were talking about on the show tonight. So I wanted to give credit where credit was due, but I could not remember the name of your group, and I apologize.
The name of the group is Crypto Normal Encounters with B Moss. Crypto
Normal Encounters with B Moss.
Yeah.
Yes, and so that, folks, is the name of her group. So if you want to get some information and whatever, I've had conversations with Bettina, and she's pretty knowledgeable, and I consider her a friend. And I did not want to just pluck a story off of your group and not give you credit for that. And then, so I figured I'd get you on, and we could plug you and your group. It's growing alongside Ryan's group. Y'all are both up and comers. How many members you got now?
Last I checked, Josh, I took a nap earlier tonight, but last I checked, it was at 998 members. It may be close to, maybe at 1,000 now.
Wow.
But it's grown really quick. I just started the group in the end of November, so it was after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And it's February, like the beginning of February pretty much, so it just grew overnight. I think it started pretty fast after I did my interview with Jeff Nadoni. That sent a lot of members over to the group. But a lot of the information I have is just, listening to your show, listening to Vic's show, and, all these years, Brenton Solon, when everybody was, doing their thing, Scott Carpenter. So listening to all these encounters over the years, before I ever had my own Dogman encounter, I already knew that they existed. So once I had a sighting of one myself, after that, it made me get to a point where I don't know if you want me to go into my encounter, but I know you wanted to talk about that story, so I'm just going to kind of make it quick, but that's what really got me into it. If anybody wants, go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt you. We're going to have you come on the show and tell your encounter, and then you can go into more in depth about everything.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, because it's kind of hard for me. I'm holding the phone right here on the microphone, but folks, I just wanted to give I wanted to give credit where credit was due. I pulled a story off of there, just like if I use, a story, like if I pulled it off of one of Lon's deals, I got to give him credit. And so somebody had posted that in your group, and so I wanted to share that story, and it was a very good story. And I wanted to have you call in, and you could plug your group. And hopefully you get your YouTube channel up and running. It shouldn't be, what did it say?
Hopefully it won't be that long. I'll be getting it put out there. I may give you a call, like, for some pointers and ask a few questions and stuff like that. I'm trying to figure out the technical side of all this.
Well, absolutely. And then at some point, maybe, you could come on and do a Whisper to a Scream with me and Ryan, too. And so...
Oh, I love it. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
well, Josh, I appreciate you giving me a shout out. I'm going to have to look. I mean, I know what you're talking about, that post. I get so many posts come through today now, and then working like throughout the day. I haven't had time to go on there and look at all the things that's posted on the page, but I have seen that, and I just haven't clicked on that link yet. But, yeah, I really appreciate you giving me a shout out for the group. And I'll just comment below, too, about the name of the group. And thank you. And, yeah, just let me know. Hit me up whenever you guys get ready, if you want me to come on, or if you want me to come on your show.
Absolutely.
I've got to get you on as well.
Anytime you want me to come and talk and talk shop, I'm available. I will make time. I always make time for my friends. That's I was talking about this earlier, that a lot of people are like, I'm so busy. Really? Because, I mean, I run a huge company, and I also, do this and I research and I do a lot of interviewing, and so I don't see where these people don't have time. I mean, you got to make time.
Exactly.
You got to make time.
Yeah.
You work full time. I know you're always working. I know that.
Yeah, Monday through Thursday, like I'm 7 to 3, and then after that, like throughout the week, I'm doing interviews and stuff like that. But I have to like kind of schedule that in because you know how it is, Josh. Some of these interviews can be 2 hours, 2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah. I always do at least 3 hours, and then we cut a bunch of it out because, a lot of it's just me cussing and falling asleep, and then waking up and having nervous breakdowns. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, man.
No, I thought I was the only one. I've fallen asleep a couple of times. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, somebody was, I was interviewing somebody the other night, and it was like, Bettina. And I was like, I'm sorry. I don't know. Maybe I got a sleeping disorder. I don't know.
Let me tell you something. When me and my wife first started talking, and she's big into the paranormal, and she had an encounter, and we used to talk for so long that sometimes my sweet wife, she'd be like, hello. And I'd be over there, yeah, what's up? What are we talking about? Because I'm falling asleep. And then she would return the favor, and we would be talking the wee hours, and I'd be like, hello. And then she'd be like, yeah. And so I was like, okay, well, we got to get off the phone. And eventually she came to visit and then just never left, and the rest is history. But yeah, falling asleep on the phone, folks, it happens. It does, man. I mean, it just can't, sometimes I've done that and just messed up, and I had to start over,
Well, she now has over 1,000 subscribers.
Well, that's why, like me, when I do these interviews and stuff like that, if I can't get on before 6 o'clock, I prefer not to do it at all. And I feel bad about it. But
you know what? If you do as much work in this field as I do, then it's gonna happen. You just hit 1,000. It says here, somebody just went on there and got you.
Yeah, Lou the good dude.
Yes. Well, Josh, you let me know when you're ready, and I'm gonna plug you in. I'm gonna probably try to set up a date with you to get you on as soon as I can.
Sure.
But I'm gonna stick around in the live chat down here though, and with you guys. Are you just now getting ready to start talking about that link though?
No, we've been talking since 8 o'clock. So,
wow, y'all about to get off.
Yeah, let's see what time it is right now.
It's at 10:40.
10:40. Yeah, we're gonna go until about 11. We go 3 hours typically on here.
All right, I'm gonna hang around for a second, then, and thanks for chatting me up too. I appreciate that.
No problem. And folks, y'all go and check her out, and we're gonna be doing some work together. So, all right, thanks for coming on.
All right, thanks, Josh. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. So that was Bettina Moss, a friend of mine. So go and check out her group. It's growing. She's got a very good base. Somebody says you fell asleep on Hernandez Ranch interview, right? No, I did not. Actually, I talked pretty much straight through that one. Why would you say that? Why would I fall asleep during my 100th episode, dude? I'm not gonna do that. Who said that? Shame on you, Steph. Shame on you, Steve, Steph, whatever you want to call yourself. Says Wolf worked so hard that he was born in a log cabin that he built with his own 2 hands. That's right. There was a guy named, I can't remember his name, Lincoln or something. I ran him out of there. Told him, get lost. Go do something with your life. Run for president. I don't know whatever happened to that guy. Somebody told me he made some actor angry. But it was just like Tea Party in Boston I didn't get invited to. I was pretty mad about that too. How do you know I haven't been around for centuries? How do you know that? Could someone post her group on the Paranormal Round Table group? Sure, we can do that. We can put the link on there. If you're listening, Bettina, just go and take your link and go and post it on the Paranormal Round Table, the group page of Paranormal Round Table. You can post it on Whisper to a Scream. You can post it on Paranormal Encounters, Paranormal Lounge, on all of our family of groups. Cliff Warren, it says, "What's up, Josh? You never hooked up with me with my Dogman encounter that I sent you. I apologize if I didn't. I'm always down to get Dogman encounters. I get a lot of them. Which one was yours? Just send me the basic overview on Messenger. My email has been kind of weird lately. Like I've been having some issues. Let's see here.
Mary Moss says, thank you for shouting her out.
So, Cliff, are you trying to get on the show? You want to come on and tell your story? Because that's always welcome, too.
Yeah, he says I'm trying to get on. So sometimes when I listen to the show, my 5-year-old would drift off to sleep. I'm hoping the sound of your voice will become a trigger for her to sleep so I can listen in peace.
It says, I thought you said something funny about that on Vic's show. Dude. It's all in good fun stuff. Let's see, hey Josh, I live in San Marcos and I want to know where is the Dogman Church in Georgia. I'm not going to talk about that. I don't know if I should say things about that too much. San Marcos. Okay, if you live in San Marcos, go Ranch Road 12. Okay, and go between San Marcos and Blanco is the Devil's Backbone. There are Dogman sightings out the wazoo in that area. Go north in that area, north of there, going toward the river drive. I forgot what it's called. Going toward, is it the Comal River? I can't remember the name of the river. But if you go, or the Guadalupe, and is the Guadalupe or the Comal? I think it's the Comal. But there's a bunch of, like in between New Braunfels and San Marcos, there's that river drive. And then when you get to San Marcos, go a little further north, and you get a lot of Dogman sightings in that area, around that water area.
Jesse Knight put that about a new tea party. About to be a new tea party. Guess he's inviting you to this one since you weren't invited to the last one.
Says, Josh, have you ever heard of any celebrities or anyone famous have a cryptid encounter? Yeah, I do. Rob Lowe. Rob Lowe saw Bigfoot. I mean, I could just, off the top of my head. Ohio? I know Ohio, Pennsylvania has a lot of cryptid encounters just in general. I know the Ohio Grassman. It says here, I heard a lot out of Wimberley, Texas. Who said that?
Anunnaki, bro.
Yeah. How do you know about Wimberley, Texas? Because you're right. You're right on the money about that. I do get encounters out of there. You're getting awfully close to a very famous area that we've talked about. Have you ever heard of anyone famous?
Yeah, I'm saying, did you ever get any more pets after the pup who lived in the house?
What does that mean? Did you ever get any more pets?
I don't know. Someone said Dan Aykroyd said he's seen UFOs.
Ronald Reagan saw a UFO. Okay, so I've talked about seeing like silver ball looking objects in the sky, and I've seen them 3 times in the last like maybe year and a half. And me and my wife finally she saw one with me, because I've seen it 3 times, and she was around. Once she was in the house at a project we were working at. She went to use the bathroom at one of the houses we used it to use the bathroom. But she finally saw the same thing I did. I pointed into the sky, and I don't even remember where the heck we were at now. I'm so tired. But we were sitting there, and I go, "Look, do you not see that?" And she looked up, and she saw it, and it vanished. It was a silver, like ball looking thing that kind of like elongated and then disappeared. Do you remember her talking about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because it was weird. I don't know.
Yeah. I think we talked about it after we got home from work.
Yeah. Yeah. Any more questions? We got about another 13 minutes. We're going to do this, and then we're going to cut it loose.
Any dogmen in Kansas? Jim asked that.
Yeah. What is that town we went through, Scorp, when we were in Kansas, where you go Salina? Is it Salina, and then you cut down? And I had mentioned that to someone in passing about Salina or Selena. I can't remember exactly. And then we have that shimmering creature in Wichita, Kansas. I don't know if that counts as a dog man, but in Salina or Salina, Kansas, I believe. I just mentioned something about that in passing to someone who was from Kansas, and they were telling me that their aunt had a dog man encounter right outside of that area. Haven't gone into details about it yet, but maybe they will. I get so many stories.
Stephen Gilson asks, do you have any more stories in the works about reptilians?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Another collaborator and I were speaking, and we found that Flagstaff, Arizona is an extremely haunted area. Man, I got some weird stories about Flagstaff. If you go to my show and go to back in the archives, just listen to the shows, Flagstaff comes up over and over again. And in fact, we were there in Flagstaff, and we were talking about all the weirdness. You know, we were with a friend of ours and my wife. We were on vacation, and we were heading to California for business, but we decided to turn it into a business/vacation, and we traveled to, I think, 14 different states, and we had a blast. It was a tiring trip, but it was a month-long trip, and it was fun. Me and Scorp had a blast. We were at the Golden Gate Bridge, and nobody took picture.
I did.
You took a video, but I never got any of it.
You should have. I thought I tagged you in it.
Never got nothing. Made me mad.
Video's still on my Facebook about it.
Well, you should put it on there. But tag me in it. You should tag me on there. That's not the first time I've been to the Golden Gate Bridge, but I'm over there driving and nobody's bothering to video it or picture it. And then at least I didn't get into it. I didn't even know you'd done that. So, anyways, we were all over the place on that trip, and
And then after, bro, if you got any stories, go ahead and email them through. From Wembley.
Yeah, that whole corridor is full of Bigfoot and Dogman, and it's weird because there are 2 different sides. When someone gives me a Bigfoot or Dogman story from that area, it's almost like a triangle from Wimberley, San Marcos to New Braunfels to Blanco. If you look at a map, it's weird. It's almost like a triangle, and I can tell when they're legit because I know where the Dogman sightings are in that area, and I know where the Bigfoot sightings are. So when somebody says, I saw a Bigfoot, it's more than likely I know the area where it's at. Just like Dripping Springs, there's a certain area on the other side of Dripping Springs going south that I know where there's Bigfoot habitation that they seem to appear.
Jason was asking about frogmen or mantis man stories.
The mantis people, we're going to get into those. I got so many different... I'll let you people vote, man. Here's what I'm gonna do at the end of this show right here. So here we go. I have 1 or 2 that I think I've already told those. I got different subjects here that we can go over. And when the Dogman the series of Dogman shows is coming to an end. We're going to start getting into some other stuff, some haunting stuff, and some other cryptid stuff.
Or giant animal stories.
Giant animal stories is in what?
Any giant animal stories you may have gotten, if you've gotten any.
I don't know what that means. There it goes. Oh, my eyes were like dying. I felt like I was falling asleep at this freaking dreary darkness we're living in over here. So I got this one about a faith healer. That's one of the stories. I got time slips, angelic encounters. I got black cats and shark shapeshifters. We did the Glimmer Man episode. I got more stories since then. Every time I drop a show, I get more stories. I got a Dogman cartel. Weird. More Hernandez Ranch stories. I got gnome stories. I got my experience with a skinwalker, which it's not like horrifying or scary, but I think it was a skinwalker. I got a story about reptilians fighting with Dogman. I got dinosaurs, prehistoric creatures, prehistoric kangaroo, lizards. Got some stories about centaurs, which it's taken me a while to get enough to put together a show, but I could do it. I got one about the Brazilian exorcist, which is just, that was off the chain. That was just a crazy story. And then time slips. I got a person that wants to come on and talk about the Mandela effect. That's all he does, just, and I'm trying to convince him that it would be a good idea to come on and do. I got some authors I want to get on, like Chad Lewis. I need to get Nick Redfern on. I've been trying to get that, I'm got a lot going on. Steve Stockton is another person I want to get on. I think I owe it to you guys to get all these people on to let them talk and so that's what's going on. Sleep paralysis can very possibly be paranormal in nature. It just depends. Just like the Dogman, there could be more than one thing going on there. Ley lines.
People are asking for gnome stories.
And for you people who won the contest, just hit me up on Messenger, and I will make arrangements to get your prize money to you forthwith. Did I say that correctly? Forthwith? Is that how you say it?
Fort Worth.
That's not Fort Worth. That's like Fort Worth.
I don't know. I've heard it both ways.
I've never heard it that way.
So then we say too sweet.
Forthwith, immediately, without delay, we undertake to pay forthwith the money required. Well, you can't see it, but that's the definition, folks. So, I guess that's going to do it, folks. We're almost at the 3 hour. I think we've hit 3 hours. I never started out doing the live chats and thought, I'm just going to do 3 hours or talking about stuff. But there's so many questions. I thought, you know what? After maybe 3 or 4 of these, might just fizzle out, and we don't ever, but you guys come up with so many questions. I can't get to them all, and we could just go on and on and on. Yeah. So,
I was asking for some of the other vampire stories you said you had.
Mm-hmm. So what we're going to do, I'm probably going to start within the next week or two. I'm just going to cut. We're probably going to have to cut back to 2 hours because it's too long. We have to cut back a little bit and just cut back to maybe 2 hours because it does cost more money to drop longer episodes. And like I said, we are post haste. There you go, post haste. It just costs more money, and so it takes more time and more everything, and we just have a lot of work right now. We're slammed. The COVID thing has kept us slammed. Dick, if you have angel stories, let's set up a time to talk, and maybe we can talk about it, and you can come on and tell all your stories.
Any stories y'all have, y'all go ahead and send them in.
And if you send them to me, you know I'm not going to butcher them like someone else that butchered your story. Angels riding centaurs forthwith. I think that they're on two different sides, but you know.
Dick Rich says he has. Said he had God send an angel.
Yeah, I know. That's what I read. Yeah. Says I've been to Taylor, Texas. Had no idea it's crawling with Dogman. I wouldn't say it's crawling with Dogman. It's just got there's stories, and they don't call them Dogman. They're just Cadejo stories. Most people call them Cadejo or the Hombre Lobo, but there's stories of these werewolf-like creatures. I've interviewed lots of people with these things. Nobody's ever thought to do that before. Like, why don't we just start talking to these people who've had these encounters? I don't know. I know I can't be the only person that took an interest in it. I mean, geez. Everybody's all like, oh, man, that's cool that you're doing that now. I mean, why wasn't it already done?
Stories about a werebear.
In fact, Scorpion was with me when a former police officer told us at the barbecue cook-off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Of course you can.
Thank you.
You're my friend. If you're not my friend, I'd knock the crap out of you. Bam.
I wasn't your friend. I wouldn't be here.
No, I wouldn't do that to you.
Shit, we've been friends for going on 22 years now, almost.
99?
Since 99.
I'll tell you a story. I didn't like this guy when we first met. And he did not like me.
No.
Tell him about what you thought when you first met me. You did the stories about me. You didn't.
I've heard of everybody telling stories about some of the fights that he had, and I thought it was a bunch of baloney. I mean, because I couldn't believe that one man could be that strong, that fast, and that good at fighting. And then I saw him fight, and that changed everything.
Then you just disliked me because I was arrogant. But at least you believed. I mean, you know.
It's not that I disliked you then. It's I was.
You did not like me.
I was kind of nervous to be around you because I saw what you could do, but that also gave me what I needed to come up to you and ask to start working out with you and everybody else because I found out y'all were going to the gym after work.
But you know, Taz and Squid and Arash and none of y'all really liked me that much to begin with.
No,
I'm an acquired taste.
No, Willie tried to get you fired when you first
Willie Taz became one of my dearest friends. Didn't really like me. Squid used to work at another post.
Sorry.
He didn't really like me either. Or not another post, another bar. He didn't really like me either. He just heard stories about me, and he's a Navy SEAL, and he's just like, I don't care about this guy. Everybody thinks this guy's so tough, whatever.
And just like me, he saw you fight, and he was like, okay, maybe I should change that.
Seeing is believing.
Yes, big time.
But you didn't buy into it. But in your defense, too, you're from a hood, from Montopolis, and you were a gangbanger, you know, and you came from a rough place. And you know,
I knew a few
you
people.
meet some white guy, and you're like, "Who's it?" But you didn't know I was half Mexican. But I mean, you heard the stories of some white guy, and then you found out.
I knew a few people who could throw hands because I met some people who boxed over at the Montopolis Rec.
Where I did.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know you'd box there until after we'd become friends. Mm-hmm. There in Pan Am, and I knew a few of those people.
I beat some of those people.
Yeah.
Well, but that's when I had to prove myself. I show up out of nowhere on 6th Street and just start
as did I. mean,
creating a new order, and everybody was like, "Who is this guy?" Once you disintegrate a few tough guys, then they're like, "Okay, what was his name again?" Yeah. Okay.
People start remembering you.
You know that's when but not bragging. I'm just saying that's when me and Scorpion became friends, and he wasn't necessarily a believer at first.
Yeah. Actually, the day we became friends was like. After like the first 2 or 3 times we went to the gym, I ended up staying the night with him at his house because he didn't want to try and drive back downtown to drop me off at mine. So
you live way out in the hood too, man. It was a long ways. Let me tell you something though.
Once we got back to his house, we sat there and talked and ate, and once we talked and found out how much we had in common about the way we.
Remember, I was eating healthy back then.
Yeah.
And I went and I bought some fish. At the Central Market, and I showed you how to prepare fish. I taught you how to cook.
Yeah, you helped me to cook better. Mm-hmm. I could fry. I could bake stuff.
No, you're a barbecue. You and A-Man are the barbecue masters of the Brotherhood.
That's
Y'all
why
are the
I want to
barbecue
get back
guys.
to doing that again, man. I want to barbecue again.
Yep. But
it doesn't matter, gas grill or charcoal. I do both.
Yeah, you're pretty good. You can bang out some fajitas. So we ended up becoming friends, and we had over the years many battles with a lot of different people.
Oh yeah.
And I tell you right now, I don't think any of you guys just took to me right away. And then my brother got back from the Army, and you know, me and him clashed over and over again. You know, we weren't. I wasn't best friends with anybody. I think the earliest friend I had was Jerome, and even him, Roger, I guess. But and then he took his own life in 2011. He had PTSD. But Jerome and Dominic, I think, were my first brothers. And I got a question for you, folks. I want to switch up gears for a minute here. One of our brothers, Dominic, lost his sister, who was a very close friend of mine. And they're ruling it as a suicide, or we don't know for sure yet. But if anybody's out there who's a remote viewer, I've talked to a couple, or if you know anybody that's a really good psychic, send them my way, because I want to know the truth of what happened to her.
Yeah, I've met her a few times. She was a real sweetheart.
She was a nice person, and she didn't deserve to die. And if she didn't take her own life, I want to know. So I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not going to get into any more details about it at all. But just hit me up in private messenger or email me if you know somebody, because I know some psychics and I know some remote viewers, and I want to get as many opinions as I can from this situation and help my friend Dominic and his brother Isaiah get closure.
Nick and Bash, Wolf has never gone up against anybody he thought he didn't have a chance against. He thinks he has a chance against everybody and anybody, because to him it's not.
There's nobody.
It's not who. It's not who. It's when.
When. There's a time, not a person.
Yeah.
People think, oh, there's always somebody bigger and badder out there than you. That can happen. Somebody beats you when they get in your head. It's never happened to me, but I mean, I've been beaten when I was young. I got beat up all the time. That's how I learned how to fight. But when you're young, but I'm talking about, like, you know, you get in someone's head and you beat them every time, but before they even go into the fight with you or the rematch, they've already lost because they're already intimidated.
Mm-hmm.
They've already given up. They're going to lose. You know, you see it in football, baseball, basketball, hockey, all the major sports. A team gets inside another team's head and they're just scared. They go in cautious and they play cautious and they lose cautious.
Mm-hmm.
And what ends up happening, it's psychological. But for me, I don't believe it's a person. I believe any given Sunday, any given day, somebody could beat someone. It just depends. It's a time, not a man. I believe there's a time when your ki or chi, whichever you want to call it, the ki for Japanese, chi for Chinese, it's high, and you're just practically invincible. And then there's a time when, you know, a Girl Scout selling cookies can kick you in the nads and you go down. It's as simple as that. It's a time, you got to become a master of that time. What do you think the Mayans were so determined with controlling and mastering time? It's a time, not a man. I'd say there's about 10% of the planet I can't beat up. Those are guys that train in MMA and they do it every day, all the time. That's what they do. You're not going to walk in there and just beat them up. They're training it all the time. I know guys personally that do that.
Mm-hmm.
And if I go in there right now after I leave the studio and go pick a fight with them, I'm probably going to get knocked down. This is how it goes. I mean, you know, give me some time, let me train. I've always been over 300 pounds, so I can't make weight. So how are you supposed to fight in the MMA when you can't be over 300 pounds? So, and I wasn't going to go to Japan to go fight Pride. I was too busy trying to do other things over here.
Okay.
But I'm not going to talk about that. Folks, I'm going to let you go. We're not going to talk anymore about this fighting stuff and paranormal stuff. We're all done. It says pays them $5 Girl Scout cookies pays for assassin training. I mean, I guess it could. I mean, you know.
As many as they sell.
How much to hire you for the weekend, bro? Where at? Because whenever they do Texas relays here in Austin, I've been offered $500 for two days, 4 to 6 hours a day, and I won't take it. Mm-hmm. I'm done with it. Mm-mm. How counter Jim Jones oblique kick? Or John Jones oblique kick. I don't know, man. There's a lot of ways to counter a lot of things. It depends on how quick you are. I guess that's it. Anyways, guys, tune in. I'm going to be talking to Tremblay Ryan about what we're going to do, what we're going to talk about on Sunday. We'll probably be recording that over the next day or two, and so we haven't even decided what cryptid we're doing next for his show. We're going to get the sound right. Don't worry, we're going to get it all taken care of. Hopefully, he'll get the kinks worked out. We don't edit that. That's on his end. So go after him. But we're going to be doing a show on Friday, of course, part 2 with Nick Valente. We're going to keep discussing Dogman and talking theory and encounters. And so you guys have a good night.
Good night, everybody.